Sitrep Podcast is coming at you, everybody, with another session here at the Wargaming Table. I am joined one more time by my friend Damon. Mr. Damon, how are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Thank you. Are you?
Can't complain now that YouTube finally decided to cooperate. So we're back, everybody, and we're taking another look at our ongoing Red Dragon 2028 campaign, where we are imagining what could happen if People's Republic of China ever kind of made good their threats and invaded the island of Taiwan in a large-scale conventional forces invasion. We've gone over the background now on multiple streams, so I'm really not going to go into it a bunch this time. I know I keep saying I won't, and then I wind up doing that. But if you're interested in the borderline techno-thriller setting that we've created for this campaign, again, that's going to be on some of our earlier streams. Literally in a paragraph or less, we are imagining what would happen if People's Republic of China, again, conventional forces invasion of Taiwan. China does not consider Taiwan an an independent nation. It considers it a rebel province, to the point where China actually reacts rather harshly in the media, in diplomatic channels, in politics, and so on and so forth. If anyone even dares acknowledge that Taiwan is, its own country. So we've looked at this before, so again, I won't go into the details, but this is the current situation in our imagined, war that hopefully never happens, where Chinese forces have managed to claw out two tenuous bridgeheads in a series of largely failed airborne assaults and slightly more successful amphibious assaults. So again, the first wave was airborne, the second wave was amphibious. Each one of those was kind of supposed to set up 3 bridgeheads. Out of those 6 bridgeheads, really only 2 have succeeded, which is bad news for the Allies. Allies being, of course, the United States, Taiwan, obviously, of course, and some of our other allies in the Western Pacific, to include at first Japan, and maybe if this proves popular and we go on with it, maybe even some South Koreans. So the bad news for the Allies is that, yes, 2 lodgements have been secured. The good news is they are widely separated and thus vulnerable to counterattack if America and her Western allies can get enough forces here in Taiwan fast enough. The Pacific is an awfully big place, and to get troops deployed from the American Pacific Northwest, Alaska, Japan, Okinawa for the Marine Corps, South Korea for the Army, so on and so forth, trying to get enough firepower into Taiwan fast enough through what's expected to be very heavy Chinese naval and air resistance. That airlift is going to be very, very difficult. And even if it's not difficult, it's going to take time. So for now, what we were looking at on August 8th, 2 weeks ago, was Damon's game, where we see his little green arrow here. He was launching a counterattack against this bridgehead here in the north. This was particularly important because Chinese armor, built mostly around 10th Armored Brigade and 1st Amphibious Division, Amphibious Mechanized Infantry Division, their big armored push was about to crack out of this bridgehead in the town of Lungtan and break northeast toward those highways that will threaten Taipei. That is, of course, the capital of Taiwan. So to prevent that from happening, a mixed force of Americans and a small contingent of Japanese of the 42nd Rapid Deployment Brigade sort of landed here on this coast, and they were going to move to sort of head off that impending Chinese breakout attempt. And then along the way, they encountered some defending Taiwanese that were desperately trying to hold on and hold the line until help arrived. Chinese submarines have now launched a wave of cruise missiles that have taken out most of the Taiwanese command and control infrastructure, leaving their army largely leaderless. This was basically my narrative excuse to put Taiwanese forces under Damon's command. So, of course, Damon's playing the Americans and Japanese, basically the Allies. He's now also commanding what's left of the Taiwanese forces, and I am playing Chinese forces, built largely around the spearhead of 10th Armored Brigade, that's the People's Liberation Army, 10th Armored Brigade here in the north, and People's Liberation Army Navy. I just call it People's Liberation Navy because People's Liberation Army Navy sounds kind of dumb, but that is the official name. But for now, I'll just say People's Liberation Navy. Marines, mechanized infantry here in the south. I put most of my infantry here in the south because there was a big town down here. This is actually Lungtan itself. And in street battles, infantry are usually better than tanks. So I put most of my infantry in the south, most of my tanks in the north. So that's pretty much where we are at the moment. Damon, did you have any comments about how the game has gone for you so far in the first 5 turns?
I've been enjoying it. The north side's obviously worked a lot better than the south side. I basically had to turn and run in the south. There's no way I could stand.
I was going to say, I don't know what you mean. The north side of the battle looks great for the Chinese. I don't know what you mean. Look at all these tanks I have. I have tanks here. I have tanks here. Look at all these tanks. I have tons of tanks up here. Oh, wait, they're all on fire. Never mind. I'm sorry, you were saying?
They all have big... They've all got 120mm and 105mm holes in them.
Yeah, some Hellfires, too. Awesome. Alright, so it's the Chinese turn, beginning of Chinese turn 6. We begin with, I have no, or do I? Oh god, I wrote that down somewhere, from 2 freaking weeks ago. Where did I put that? Okay, first of all, I have to call in new artillery. So let me actually write that down. I had a notepad from like 2 weeks ago that actually showed, you know, my artillery from turn 5. But before I can call in the new artillery, I have to put in the I have to plot my artillery for turn 7. So calling in on turn 6, arriving on turn 7. Okay. My indirect fire is called in. My indirect fire will now land from previous turn. My indirect fire, by the way, for those who weren't watching us last week, is my PLZ-10 automatic mortar. That's a 120mm machine gun mortar that fires, I can't remember how big the magazine. Most automatic mortars I'm aware of have either 4 or 8 round magazines. So it fires between 4 and 8 120mm mortar shells basically at once. So hence it has a very high attack factor. It is using indirect fire, so it does not double, but it is in range, and it is firing against a spotted target. My Chinese drones do still have the target in sight, and of course we're talking about hex number 3115 is where my points are landing. I have 16 total points, because again I do not double. Mortars double when they're firing direct, but this is not a direct fire strike, so it's only 16. However, it does affect everything in the hex individually. So the first thing that's going to land on is those little, these little JTLVs. We're going to call those JTLVs lightly armored vehicles, so it does get divided. That's going to knock it down from 16 to 8. All right, cool. So 2 to 1, subtract 1 from the die. I'm sorry, add 1 to the die roll for his wooden buildings. Basically, I need a 1. I get a 4, which becomes a 5. He is disordered. Okay, next, my 16 does not divide versus the Javelin team, so it's 16 on 6. That becomes 2 to 1. Again, subtract 2 from the die roll, because 16 is a sloppy 2 to 1. You always divide attack by defense and round in favor of the defender. So Chinese mortars, 5 become a 6. I don't even know if that's disordered. 6, modified 6 on 2 to 1 is not even disordered. So they survived that mortar barrage like a champ. That was disappointing.
That's useful.
Yeah, well, yeah, for you. Okay, now it is time for my motivating direct fire phase. Alright, I've basically got 2 choices here. I can either take out these tanks in the open, possibly.
They're in the woods, Jim. They were in the woods.
Oh, they were in this hex here?
Yeah, you moved them when you were showing off the tanks.
Oh, I apologize. That was me cheating. Okay, that actually makes my decision a little easier then. Because my 48 doubles to 96. 96 versus 34 is a sloppy 2 to 1. I do have to add 1 for his wood cover. That means I would need a 1 to kill him, which is not good. If he was in the open, I might risk it. But it's not, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. It's just going to be 96 divided by 6. If I take out that MCV, I think I'll go ahead and do that instead. 96 versus 6, I don't even know what that is. It's definitely more than 7 to 1. And 7 to 1, even with +1 for woods, a modified 7 is still a kill. So I'm going to go ahead and put a Japanese destroyed vehicle on the table. And that's going to be his action for the turn. My last platoon of ZTZ 99As. That's my. I started off the game, everybody, with 6 platoons of those. I only have 1 left because stupid. All right, and then he'll use a split move and fire later on in the turn. So that's it for direct fire up here. I've got no direct fire here. I think the turns are going to start going a little faster now because the armies are already pretty badly shot up. 1, 2, 3. These are all 6 highs, right? Alright, cool. I have 18 total points that I can put into Hex 3115, but only some of the targets. I-class weapons can only attack armored targets in modern Panzer Leader. They can't in World War II Panzer Leader at all. In modern Panzer Leader, they can do it up to 2 hexes. He's 3 hexes away, so I can't engage that JTLV with my Dushkas. I can, however, engage that Javelin anti-tank system. 3 to 1, add 1 to the die roll for his buildings. Oh shit, I'm not showing the map. 2, that becomes a 3 on 3 to 1. That Javelin team is destroyed. Alright, that's going to clear up things for an assault later on. Good news. 2! Those are Americans. 2 Allied units destroyed this turn. Awesome. And I'm just getting started, folks. I'm just getting started. Okay, my stupid SAM launcher that I forgot to fire like 100 times is going to take a shot at some Apaches. It's 40 versus 22, so it's a sloppy 1-to-1. Apaches are pretty hard to shoot down with man-pads. That's why I made the values what they are. Yeah, basically it's 40 to 22 is 1-to-1. I need a 1 to shoot them down. So I'm going for the 1 there in Hex 1510. I would really appreciate a super lucky roll here. Come on. A 2. I came damn close.
Oh.
I almost shot him down. But he is definitely disordered. Alright. Other direct fire. I think that's going to be about it for now. I'm ready to go over to movements. Okay, it's time to go to movement. Alright, going over to movement. Oh god, here's the thing. I could just march this infantry sacrificially and have that objective hex for a very brief while. I would probably hold it for about half a turn. Let me fix this. We know that Predator is out of.
Yep.
Of course now.
I've got no more airborne belt fires.
Yeah. So I'll fix his color back the way he was. Okay. You never know. Alright, I'll head up there. Any opportunity to fire from your Abrams. Or your infantry slash heavy weapons, too. Your Taiwanese remaining troops.
Everything can fire. Let's flush you out.
Oh, he's coming right at you. He's coming at you in a counterattack. So, okay, 28. I'll zoom in so we can see what's going on here a little bit better. Again, this guy's pretty much doomed, so I'm kind of throwing him away. I probably shouldn't have done this, but 28. Normally, A-class weapons for people in the chat are divided against soft targets, i.e. infantry. However, notice that star after the weapons class. These M1A2s, this is a half platoon, by the way. Notice the lower numbers. That's because it's the XO and commanding officer. This is 2 tanks, not 4. So that 28 stays the same. It doesn't divide against infantry. It doesn't double at point-blank range. It's basically just 120s firing either heat, HE frag, flechette, who knows what, some sort of anti-infantry round. So that's going to be 28 points there. He's got 10 down here in heavy weapons, and he can fire right across this little intersection. And he's got 6 in 50 cals on these Taiwanese Humvees that he can also put in there. So it's 16 plus 28 between Taiwanese and American gunfire. I'm assuming you're firing everything. Is that correct, Damon?
Yes, please.
No worries. That gives me a total of 54 points. Yeah, this was pretty much a suicide mission. I only have 6 points. However, I am in concrete buildings. So concrete buildings does give me 5 additional points. So my defense is actually an 11. Which is, oops, 54 divided by 11, not minus 11. Gives you a very sloppy 4 to 1. You have to add 1 to the die roll for my concrete buildings.
That'll do.
A 1 definitely does it. He's smoked. There's another soft.
There's my 1 for the game.
There you go. You're 1-1. I'll take that 1 next time I'm shooting at your Apaches. With my poor, whatever the hell it is. It's basically a Chinese version of a Stinger. Okay, other movement. You gotta be very careful here.
Yeah, just drive out off the road. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm sure. Actually, you know what's funny? I think he could. I mean, I kind of know you're kidding, but I think he could. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, thank you for that suggestion. That's exactly what he will do. So, opportunity fire, folks, only becomes you only trigger opportunity fire after you have moved 1/4 of your movement in enemy continuous line of sight. I was about to do this convoluted bullshit through the tree line where I'm going to move here. The strikers with tow missiles can see me, but the Abrams can't. Then I'm going to move here to 1409 when the Abrams can see me, but the strikers can't, and back and forth and dippity-doo and dance around. And no, I'm just going to get on the highway and just Mad Max Fury Road my way down the highway here. And hey, by the time I've spent 4 by the time I spend 4 movement points, let me triple check that. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. Yeah, I get here. Now I'm behind the berm. And, yeah, I still have half a movement point. I could technically move 1 more hex. But that will be it for that. Cool. That was easier than I thought. One, 2. Because I think I see what's coming. I think I see where he's going with that. These guys did not fire, so I'll just go ahead and move them up. This guy did fire, so he can't move. This is... Oh, that was the APC that was carrying the SAM around. There's not a heck of a lot he can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for tree line, 8, 9, 10, 10 and a half. Ooh, there's an American rifle platoon up there. Ay, 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 ay. Alright, let's get undercover. Can't overrun me in those trees. He'd have to dismount to cat attack me. Either way, I would have some time. No worries, no worries. Hold on to this objective. Oh, I can't do that. I keep doing that. I keep overloading that hex. Oh, yes, I can. I can put 1 vehicle in there. Because there's technically 2 other, for people in the chat, there's 2 other stacking points in there in the form of these burning Taiwanese and American tanks and APCs. Actually, I think that's a Taiwanese Cloud Leopard platoon and an American Stryker MGS flipped over and burning in that stack. All right, well, they're moving. Oh, I've got some movement down here. That's for show. That's for show. 1, 2, cat attack. Actually, stand by on that. Overrun. I think these I-class weapons can give some opportunity fire. It's not much, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, whatever I've got, I'll do it.
Yeah, 50 cals might like disrupt one of those thin-skinned APCs. It would be, again, you're within 2 hexes, so I-class weapons can engage armor. Again, that's a modern Arab Israeli war and forward rule. You can't do that in World War II, for anyone that watches this later on YouTube. So it's 6 versus 8, 1 to 2. Yeah, 1 to 2. A 1, 2, or a 3 disorders me, I think.
5.
Cool, no disorder. Now that's 24 versus 4. It becomes 6 to 1, becomes 7 to 1, subtract 2 from the die roll. Smoked. 2 more American units bite the dust. Because the carrier unit dies with them. And that was an overrun. Yay. Now those infantry units can do something else. Ooh, actually, I can't legally do that. If I'm going to use the road movement rate, I can only use two units at a time. 1, 2, and then this guy's going to have to be 1 hex behind. Now 2 enemy units can be in the same hex because one of them is an air unit. The drone is assumed to be flying over top of the Marines, the Chinese Marines. They're in hex 24-19, or I'm sorry, 24-17. These guys can use half movement, but I'm not sure what they want to do yet. Alright, so what I'm doing, chat, is I'm trying to get into a position where their 50 caliber machine gun fire can engage them as well as them. You know what I just remembered? I have enough, or I have really mismanaged some of my assets. I had, past tense, enough of these crappy Chinese APCs. They're scattered all over Hell's Creation now, so they're not going to be able to do this now. But in previous turns, these guys still carry Saggers. They carry 30-point class G missile strikes. I might be able to slow down those Abrams after all, but they're only 30 points. And again, these Abrams get to subtract 2 from the die roll, or I should say add 2 to my die roll because of their laminate Chobham armor. Whenever those kinds of units start taking missile fire, they get a nice big bonus because of the specific chemical and metallurgical makeup of their armor, not just the thickness. So that armor is much better against some kinds of warheads than others. And yeah, plus I've lost too many of those APCs. I kind of threw them away. And oh, there's one here too. I'd have to mass them all together and hit all at once and then get hella lucky. And by the way, they each can fire that weapon only once, because then they're out of missiles. So, never mind. I think I'm still screwed. But if I had enough of these Chinese APCs still together, and he came at me with those tanks, I could put some warheads on foreheads and just maybe get lucky and smoke one of those Abrams platoons. Enough guided missiles will eventually take out a tank. But I don't think that's going to happen now. These guys do not carry that. They only have the I. Pretty much, for people in the chat, any weapon that has a G in the weapons class has a guided missile on it. No hidden units in Panzer Leader. I'm pretty sure I'm done with my movement phase. It's not great. I don't like it, but I think it is what it is. Yeah, okay, over to you for your direct fire phase. Because science teacher says you hope that if the drone is in with a Marine, say goodbye to the drone. Infantry can shoot down a drone with small arms fire. It's just really hard. Because
Can my artillery land?
Okay, so the turn sequence is you call in new artillery for your next turn first, and then we resolve your old artillery.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had artillery from previous turn, again that's 2 weeks ago, yeah, that could definitely land, but you would call in your new artillery first if you wanted to.
Yep.
Okay, so you would call in your new artillery first.
So I need to remind myself where are my drones? There's one there, and there's one up north.
Yep.
So this can see everything on the road underneath it, and that stuff in the open over there.
A little bit.
Please, yeah.
There's the big picture. That's pretty much the whole map.
What's the spotting range on the drones? It's 20 odd.
Oh, for a unit in the open, it's unlimited. For an American drone, it's within 12 hexes, and you roll a 1 through a 4 on a d6 to spot somebody that is in cover. For people in the chat, that's lasers, thermals. Pretty much, it breaks the classic Panzer Leader spotting roll because technology.
I think I've stuffed up. Oh yeah, I think I've stuffed up on the spotting for the round that's coming in. Anyway, next volley.
Well, either that or I moved.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about these mortars have been spotted. So have these SAMs, because they've been firing out of cover. Once you fire from out of cover, you're spotted. If you have someone watching, and you have 2 drones, plus helicopters. So never mind.
Okay, yeah. Right, so the next...
Well, if you call a new artillery, you write it down and you don't tell me.
Yep.
Okay.
That's coming in. Okay, yeah, got it.
Alright, cool. Now we resolve the artillery you called in on turn 5. So, yeah, what's the hex number where that was landing?
That's coming down on the mortar carrier.
No! Okay, so these are the same size mortar, 120mm mortars. Notice they have half the attack factor because it's not automatic. It's just a regular 120mm tube that the guy's chucking down the tube. Okay? So it is well within range, excuse me. It's still 8 points. It's on an armored target, so it's worth 4 versus my 7. That's 1 to 2. And I am in woods, so you have to add 1 to your die roll on the 1 to 2 row. Or, sorry, 1 to 2 column. So basically, you're looking for a 1 or a 2 to disorder that Chinese mortar battery.
A 5 won't do it.
A 5! We laugh at your mortars. We pick up the shells and throw them back at you. Alright, and then we go to your direct fire phase. Bring all your noise. Notice I stayed out of range of your 50 cals. Down there in that southeastern town.
Yes. The tanks are out of sight. Don't think I can see much beyond a few infantry units in the north of that.
Oh, these guys
are Lung Fan.
Sorry.
They've all disappeared, haven't they?
Yeah. Which two? Yeah, these guys they're out in cover in the woods. Now you can make spotting checks with your 2 drones.
Yeah, we'll do that then. So,
okay.
A 5.
1 drone. Okay, so I'm assuming that was this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He was in range. Your other drone, I think, is out of range unless you move him.
Yep.
Okay, so you want to move him south. Give me the hex number where he's going to wind up at.
Uh,
He's got to be within 12 hexes to make the attempt.
He's going to come down over the wood hex at the end of the river, where that river starts. Just 2 hexes northeast, one in just over the woods. Let's it down a bit more, and then the one just to the southwest. 2 more southwest.
Oh, okay. Like so?
Yep.
Now, the question, do I want to take opportunity fire before he makes that spotting check? Either way, I'm giving my position away. But it might be fun to shoot down a drone. So either way, I'm going to be spotted. Because as I fire out of this hex, even if he fails his roll, or I shoot him down, I've now fired out from under cover. Bingo. He's spotted. My guys are spotted. But if I get lucky enough, I get a drone out of it. So 12 plus 8 plus 8 plus 6. This is Chinese opportunity fire. For people in the chat, 12 plus 8 plus 8 plus 6. I just gave away my position. So either way, the drone has accomplished its mission. 6 more from here. Nope, I'm blocked by that sound hex there. 6 more from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am in range. Plus 6 equals 40. 40 divided by 6. 40 divided by 6 equals 6-to-1 odds. However, notice the 2 stars next to his name there, or next to his defense factor. That means I have to add 2 to my roll. So it's 6-to-1, add 2 to the die roll. This is surprisingly survivable. It's, basically, I think I need a 1 through a 4. A 4 becomes a 6 because I have to add 2 to my die roll. I think a modified 6 does kill on 6-to-1. A modified 6 on 6-to-1 is a kill. So that is a smoked drone. However, at least for the short term, mission accomplished, spotted. And also spotted. This guy, turns out, was not legal, but it still would have been 4-to-1. I would have been blocked. Oh no, he spotted. He spotted. That would have been legal. Okay. So, yeah,
cool.
now they're open for your fire phase.
How far away is the other Apache? Out of range, isn't he?
Well, Apaches are aircraft, so we let them move as well as attack. They're probably kind of or move before they attack. They're pretty much the only units that can do that.
He's going to come down and join where the other Apache is.
Okay.
He's in range then to attack that infantry.
Yep, with his chain guns.
Does he need to be a bit closer?
Oh no, he's good. The range on that is 10.
Does he need to get a bit closer?
No, range is 10. He's good. It's 8-star
cool.
class,
Yep.
so it doesn't. As long as he's within range, he gets the same attack value. It's 12. Basically, he's firing explosive rounds out of his chain gun.
Yep. And everything in the wood there will open fire as well.
Alrighty. According to my records, so to speak, that rifle platoon is still mounted inside. So he will not get a chance to shoot. However, the Stryker itself can shoot. 8 plus 4. Actually, hold on. Do I have those rules handy? Give me 1 second, everyone. I do apologize. I want to look something up. I want to make sure I'm not ripping Damon off. There is something called mounted infantry fire. But I'm not sure if that's just in like overruns and such. Pretty much the Kelly's Heroes move. What are you doing, machine? I should have just looked for it myself. Yeah, this search function is less than useless. Look at this. You know what? Never mind. God damn it. I'm going to give this about 2 minutes, then I'm just going to say, yeah, you can go ahead and do it. I just want to see how correct I am. Mounted infantry fire. Awesome, I found it. Certain passenger units are able to join the attacks made by their carrier units. Units 1967. So we're definitely after 1967 and 1970. Trucks and units loaded in trucks cannot attack at all. Alright, cool. I can't see a rule in here that actually precludes it. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and allow it. These strikers do have firing ports. They do have hatches where units infantry can kind of shoot out of it. So, 8... Oh, God, you're out of range anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4... Ah! Notice the range. 2-star. That means you can use half of your attack factor out to double your range. That's what the star means on the range. So cool. Technically you're out of range, but basically that rifle platoon, again, that's not an individual guy, people in the chat. That's a platoon of 40 men inside like 5 vehicles. So within that platoon of 40 men, some guys are carrying M240s, maybe even like some light grenade launchers, you know, stuff like that can reach that far. It's outside, again, every hex here is 200 meters, so you're 800 meters away. That's beyond maximum effective range for typical, you know, M4, M16A2s, you know, light and medium assault rifles. So that's the reason for that 2-star. That's an old Panzer Leader 1944 rule. So 8 for the Stryker, that's all the 50 cals, and notice the silhouette, it does have a Mark 19 on there. That's why I gave it a nice big number. So it's got automatic grenade launchers up on there, so it's 8 points for that, 4 points for that, and 4 points worth of 50 cals and M240s on this Cloud Leopard Taiwanese APC. So 4, 4, and 8, 16 total points. Plus, excuse me,
and the
Apaches, I apologize. 12 more points. So 16 plus 12 is 28. Do I need drink delivered, says because science teacher. Actually, let me see. No, I'm good. Is my voice getting raw because I'm talking too much? You guys just gotta tell me to shut the hell up, man. I'll shut up if you tell me
to. Okay, attack. Was in there is the 2 infantry and a...
Yep, there's a heavy weapons team in there as well.
Defense 5.
Yeah, there are in buildings, but they are light buildings, so no +5 to the defense. You still have to add 1 for the die roll.
I'll go after the weapons section then.
Okay, so we said what, 28? So 16 plus 12
5 to 1.
is 16 plus 12 is 28.
28.
5 to 1, add 1 to the die roll for my buildings. You need a natural 4 or less.
Another 5.
Oh no,
Really
5 becomes a 6, which means he is disordered. Okay, other direct... Oh, of course, now you're all spotted as well. Click. Alright, other direct fire.
I don't think much else that can see anything to shoot at, isn't there?
The Chinese have gotten very good at hiding and running away. which is both good news and bad news. I learned the hard way. What happens when I go toe-to-toe with Abrams? That's what happens. Yeah, this drone is already spotted, and this drone is now shot down. So
the can you just zoom in on the center woods a little bit, Jim?
Center woods. Yep.
What's that unit there?
This guy's toast. These two
They
are
haven't got any missiles, have they?
You've got
the Japanese there. There's no missiles there, is there?
If you want to shoot at drones, if you want to give up your position, you have some weapons in range. That chain gun will do a mess on drones, but no, there are no.
I'm thinking about your infantry carriers.
My infantry carriers.
Can the missile carrier can't see them, can it?
No. Where is my measuring tool? Did I not save it? I know I did. There it is. Those, oh shit. Oh, phew, thank God. Look at that. I took good cover and I didn't even mean to.
Yeah, the hill's in the way.
I forgot all about those guys up there. The Chinese brigade commander is like, hey dumbass, you do remember those Stryker ITVs up there to the north, right? They're like, what? Stryker ITVs? Oh, those. Yeah, we're totally undercover, Chief. We have that under, don't worry about it. Meanwhile, they all just shit their pants. An accidental good move. A smarter man would have claimed credit for that. Oh, I totally meant that. Part of my strategy, old chap.
Tank can't see them either, can it, because of the woods?
Which? Oh, the Japanese.
The Japanese tank.
Japanese vehicle is blocked by that woods hex, yeah. And also the
That's a shame. Oh well, not to worry. I don't think I've got anything else direct fire-wise that
no worries,
is
we
worth
can go
doing.
Straight to movement then.
Oh.
Okay.
There
are some things that are legal.
Those infantry carriers that have just overrun.
Yes. You're talking about this shot right here?
Yep.
That is definitely legal. There's no saving grace there. Oh no. 50 versus 8.
I think we'll do that.
Or 50 versus 16 if you want to go for both of them.
16, that's 16, 28. No, 50, no, it's just a 2-to-1 if I go for both of them, isn't it?
Whatever 50 divided by 16 is. I think you get 3-to-1, barely. Because those are 2 8s for defense. So 50 for tow missiles divided by 16 is a 3-to-1.
3-to-1. Well, that's both dispersed, isn't it?
Almost. In fact, yes, automatically.
And the chance of, what is it, one or two to kill?
1, 2, or 3. So one thing I really like about the tactical, this is the combat results table out of Tactical Combat Middle East by Toshash Miniatures. One thing I like about this, number one, it's very smooth. It goes right, the probability curve goes right down the columns. Excuse me again, I'm sorry about that. And the other neat little thing, if you notice, the kill number is the number of the column. So 1-to-1, you need a 1. 2-to-1, you need a 2. 3-to-1, you need a 3. So it's easy to kind of memorize the chart. So 3-to-1 with no modifiers,
okay.
You need a 3 or less. It's 50-50.
Yeah, I'll go for the kill.
On both of them?
On both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Warheads on foreheads time. That's my new saying of the week.
3 will do.
Oh, why? All they did was blow up your Stryker, your JTLVs, and kill some stingers. Why? Those are definitely armored vehicles.
Because I'm mean and nasty.
Mean and nasty, and you want some of that payback. You just ran over some of my brothers.
Takes some of the sting out of what's heading south as well.
Yeah,
those knocks out two missiles.
My two most powerful units in the south. For sure. Because those were still carrying
That was
saggers.
a well-placed missile unit.
There you go.
You'd think I'd planned that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, unfortunately for you, you're now spotted.
Mm-hmm.
And missiles cannot use split moving fire. Not that I have too much that can hit you anyway, but especially since I had 2 great units that could have killed them. Unfortunately, you just destroyed them. It was basically a missile version of an Old West gun battle, and you won the draw on the quick draw. At 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 hexes away, 2,200 meters, 11 15mm tables away, you killed him at. So, here's your homework assignment, Sitrep operators. Go home, set up 11 15mm tables, put them outside of your parking lot, have them end to end, and then put one vehicle at one side and one vehicle at the other side and roll that D6 and tell me what happens. That's what just happened.
Cool. I think that was the only thing I could see, isn't it?
I'm not gonna say. I'm tired of giving you advice. You're kicking my ass now. I give you advice when you're not doing so well. Once you start winning, I stop giving advice. Hello, Mr. Rasmus. How you doing?
Japanese.
Because science teacher, that was actually a nice, comfortable medium range shot. That tow carrier has a range of 20. So the top right-hand number there is the range. So that thing can shoot out to an easy. It depends on how many meters you want to put in the hex. It doesn't really matter. Anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000 meters. Again, modern warfare. Reach out and touch someone. I'm sorry, you were saying?
The other Japanese unit in that little hamlet on their own, looking due south, have they got enough range to hit anything in the woods?
These guys right here?
Yep. That stuff's out of sight anyway, isn't it?
It's out of sight. Yeah, this is definitely out of sight. I don't know if he wants to give his position to maybe shoot down a drone, but other than that. There's a Taiwanese... oh, that's your brigade headquarters. Your Taiwanese headquarters unit. And, sorry, that was your Japanese headquarters unit. That's your Japanese headquarters unit. And, TIFV... Tactical Infantry Fighting Vehicle. That's, another one of your Taiwanese Cloud Leopards. Cool name. I just wish it was a better vehicle.
Okay, no, I don't think they'll give away their position. Not just yet, because the drone, if I shoot one drone down, the other drone will still be able to see them, and then they can.
Well, if I'm interested, those drones are both well within the Chinese range to do a spot anyway. But number one, I don't really have anything else to shoot at you with, and number two, the Chinese roll to spot a unit under cover is worse than the American roll. I need to roll a 1 through a 3.
I don't think there's anything else that can direct shoot.
Rasmus says, should it not be a squad of vehicles at each end of the 11 tables? It depends on what game you're playing. If Rasmus, if you're playing a unit game like GHQ Micro Armor, it would be one figure. If you're playing like Flames of War, actually that's true. I did say 15mm, so I did sort of imply Flames of War. Yeah, if we're doing Flames of War, yeah, it would be a platoon of 4 to 5 vehicles. I'm sorry, go ahead, Damon.
The American infantry and the objective hex on the east.
Yep.
What have they got firepower-wise? It's not those IFVs.
At this range, nothing. Because that I-class weapon is only useful against armor within 2 hexes.
Righto.
Ooh, one thing we do have to do, we have to roll to rally that JTLV section.
Oh, yeah. 2.
He's rallied. They found that extra case of Budweiser in the glove box. They're good to go. It's time to go Dale Earnhardt on your Chinese asses. Every time I see one of those JTLVs, I know it's not. It just looks like a glorified like pickup truck or monster truck, and I'm just like, oh god. I mean, it's better than the Humvee that they replaced, but they look a little silly, I think. They're good vehicles. I mean, they're definitely an improvement over the Humvee. Goddamn fucking death traps. But they always make me laugh a little when I see a picture of them.
Can't move. You say the missile carrier can't move and fire.
The missile, yeah. If we're going to movement
move.
phase, yeah, that's a whole different story. Only turreted AFVs can, yeah, anything armed with a missile when it fires its missile. So like a BMP or these, it doesn't matter because you just blew them all up. But I have another one over here. Those little Type 89As, stuff like that. They have split move and fire until they fire their missiles, and then the turn that they fire their missiles in, they can't use split move and fire. Basically, when you fire a missile, you have to stay put.
Yep. Okay,
exception
so
helicopters. Moving. Exception helicopters. Jen says, I miss it. Do I need a drink? No, I'm good. I got half a bottle of Gatorade in here and some coffee still. I'm good. Thank you, Jen. You also have to try to ride that helicopter. You have a disordered helicopter.
Or
yeah, you don't want to let me shoot at a disordered helicopter. I might actually shoot one down. That's gonna be my only chance, is if you fail morale check.
So we'll start with moving around on the east side of the map. I think the southeast map's corner.
All right.
We're under pressure. So, in the village there, one of those three is the mortar carrier, is it?
Yep, he's stuck because he has fired. He's not a turreted AFE, and I'm assuming he has a fire mission already. But everybody else down there.
The three at the south.
Yep.
They're going to move into the buildings just in front of them, so that they can shoot out.
Yep.
And be shot at. The little modernized Humvee.
Yep.
He's going to go northeast onto the road, and then north into that first built-up hex. Yep. The two elements, the Japanese and the Korean vehicle, they're going to drop onto the road, and then go southeast into the built-up area as well. And a mass up on there. In the north, Korean,
or Taiwanese technically.
Taiwanese. Do I have to actually occupy the hex, or just I'm in control of the town?
Technically, you are. If we go all the way back to turn 1, you are the last unit to have units. You are the last guy to have units in there. So your DNA stink is still on that hex. So on turn 1, you pulled out of it, and nobody has occupied it since. So technically, you're the last person to occupy it. It's still your hex.
Cool. So the two Taiwanese units will stay where they are then.
Right.
And the Abrams command element,
who did fire, so he gets half his movement. He fired during opportunity fire.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Remember, he gets double on roads.
There's not enough. There's not enough Rex to slow him down, is there?
Oh, only in one hex. He does not. He can enter the hex freely, but he does not get the road movement hex in I'm sorry. He does not get the road movement rate bonus in hex 1705. So he would. I mean, I'm not saying you do this, but just as an example, he would get 1/2, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, and so on. Because here he has to kind of go off the road. He can still pass through the hex, but the road itself for the bonus is clogged up with burning Chinese hardware.
So we've got two just behind this center objective. There's two ITVs that can fire missiles, aren't there?
Just behind the objective hex are two ITVs that can fire. You're talking about
There's
right
an
here?
ITV. Yep, that one, and then further west, there's another one. Yeah.
Yep, and there's also a Chinese tank there, and there are also Chinese, air quotes, javelins. Technically, those are Hongjian 12s.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm trying to build up a little reverse slope defense here. I mean, I doubt I'm going to be able to hold that overpass, but I want to at least put on a fireworks display. It's probably all it's going to turn out to be, but... Rasmus says, that's a lot of wreck counters. Yeah, I kind of threw away my 10th Armored Brigade up there. I really kind of screwed that up. It wasn't my fault that I lost that battle. I should have recognized that I lost that battle and pulled out of there when I had only lost 1 or 2 platoons of tanks instead of 5 platoons of tanks. So that's half my fault. The disaster is not my fault. The magnitude of the disaster is my fault. I could have mitigated that big time, and I didn't do it. Alright, so are those Abrams going to push forward along with those Type 10s?
Yeah, they're all the 3 tank platoons are going to head into... you see where the 2-lane highway is on the northwest corner, where it comes out of the woods?
Okay. So 1407?
3805.
3805. No, there's something.
0805.
080. Oh, I see. You're talking about way up here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's 0805. Yeah.
Yep.
What about it?
So the 2 Abrams, one Abrams platoon's going to go in there.
Okay. He's safe.
Then the 2nd Abrams platoon will do the same.
Safe. Literally, I have no one. No, there are no lines of sight because you're way down that embankment, and you're kind of shooting over the ridge of the embankment. So right now, none of these units can see each other, which is probably your intention, but just so people in the chat know. Like, why aren't you shooting it, Oriskany? I can't see them.
The Japanese will join them. Japanese tank platoon will join them.
1, 2. The Japanese tank never fired an opportunity fire. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because that's a wooded hex. Yeah, he gets there.
Okay. And then the command element.
Wait, there's a stack you never thought you'd see, folks, in Panzer Leader. Abrams and Japanese Type 10s all stacked together. We do crazy stuff here on the Sitrep podcast. Just take that for the screenshot. Abrams and Type 10s all mashed up in one big stack. That's a thing of beauty right there. International West Pacific cooperation. Former enemies, now allies. Alright, how about the commander? That's like literally 3 kilometers back. Or not quite, 2 kilometers.
He's coming.
Yep. 2 full kilometers back behind his troops.
Road.
Okay.
Going to use the road and go into the little woods that they were in previously.
Alright.
Then southern movement. Missile carrier can't move.
Right.
All these.
These guys fired, so they can't move.
Yep.
Well, technically the vehicle can, but the troops fired, so the troops can't dismount. Is I guess what I meant to say. This Apache flight just got here. He can't move again. This Apache flight just recovered, so he has half of his movement. He's considered a turret in AFV for split movement fire purposes.
Okay. So let's see. He's going to go to 1312.
The first Apache unit.
Yep, the one that's just recovered.
1312 is way down here. Cool. Ooh, I see what's coming. That's not nice.
Then can we? They're all set up. They can. If they move in sight, they can interrupt. What's the movement on the Japanese infantry carriers?
Japanese infantry carriers. Oh, those guys. 16s.
16. So they need. If they do 4 in sight, they can be shot at.
Yep.
2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they will go. They'll dash across the open ground to 17. Is it 1711?
Or 1712 in woods. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, they're just going to go 3 and then 1 south.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep. And then another
cool.
1 south.
1 more south. 6,
yep.
7. They recover the hard drive. They recover the hard drive out of that crashed American drone. The Chinese steal it to copy more of our technology.
The other carrier will do the same.
Alright, guys in the chat, those are carrier units carrying passengers, so we're not violating any stacking limits.
Actually, they'll go 1 further southwest. Was it 18?
14. Oh, southwest?
Southeast, rather.
Okay,
southeast,
yeah, 18,
sorry.
14.
Yep. And the other final unit on the north there, they'll come down through the woods.
Under the other, oh, these guys
just
here?
North of the first unit. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And then what else shall we move? I think that's everything for now. Missile carrier. No, he's got a good line of sight there. Okay, yeah, but we'll stay at that for now.
Cool.
I think.
Alrighty. So that concludes turn 6. So some parts of this battlefield, guys in the chat, are well and truly decided. Other parts are still up for grabs. So as the Chinese player, I've made a lot of pretty bad mistakes in the first half of the game 2 weeks ago, August 8th, live stream. I'm still going to fight damn hard for some other sections. Number 1, to put up a good fight. Number 2, to make a good game. Number 3, to have a good stream or whatever. And a little bit for my own pride, just to kind of redeem myself, because I really screwed the pooch on a couple things. Probably because I was half asleep. 2 weeks ago, I was up till like 4 the previous night. Making up all these counters. I kind of got a little ambitious. I got excited about this idea, and I wound up having to create 4 armies like in 1 day. Which, I mean, it's counters, so it's not that big a deal, but at the same time, yeah, I was up late. Then I had to draw the map, then I had to do the background, then I had to. But either way, yeah, I was definitely dragging my ass 2 weeks ago. And now it's kind of too late to win the game overall, but I'm still going to put up the best fight I can, because why not? Speaking of which, okay, cool, turn 7. It is time for some of that motivating artillery action. Write down next artillery turn. Okay, next turn is written down. New turn coming in. It hits nothing. It lands a whole bunch of 120mm mortar shells, land in hex 3115, which he has evacuated with timely dispatch. So my artillery this time hits nothing. Cool, but my new artillery is called in. No worries. I'm going to make a couple of real quick spotting checks. Okay, that spotting check was successful. The laser designators on this hex just kind of went off. You guys have been painted. So, word to the wise. I know we've made up drones and laser spotting and all this other stuff new for Panzer Leader. However, even in classic World War II Panzer Leader, you are required to put a spotted counter on the hex that just got spotted for game tracking purposes, if nothing else. So your opponent in a real, physical game is going to know when a certain stack has been spotted. The way we're sort of explaining it in modern context, narrative-wise, is units really do carry around laser detectors, and they know when enemy electronics have sort of locked onto them. And again, also in Panzer Leader, Panzer Blitz model games, there's really no such thing as hidden information. All units are on the table. You're not allowed to hide units under other units. There usually isn't hidden minefields, although there are exceptions, and things like that. So, long story short, I have to put a spotted counter on there anyway. So that's the narrative explanation for that. All right, now I go to my direct fire. I don't know if I have too much of this time. Not really. I am going to try and shoot down that helicopter again. One of these times I'm going to get a 1. It's going to be glorious. It's coming. It's coming, baby. SAM launcher against that Apache. Come on, give it to me. 3. Nope. However, he is disordered. So he fired. I'm going to try to rally these heavy weapons teams. Chinese morale is B. He fails with a 5. I needed a 4 down. God, I have like nothing left. Jesus Christ. Holy crap. I guess I will go to that motivate and movement phase. Okay, movement phase. Where is that measuring stick? You gotta be very careful here. Oh, never mind. He's safe no matter what. Alright, cool. 1. Okay, down here. One and a half, 2, but all 4 of those units can't fit into that 1X. One, 2, 3. I am going to open fire with my 50 cals and so on into the infantry platoon. I cannot engage these units because I am more than 2 hexes away with I-class weapons. So I can only engage the infantry, which is, of course, dismounted. So it's going to be 16 versus 8. That is... I'm sorry, 18 versus 8. That is 2 to 1. That is concrete, isn't it? Yes. Damn it. Never mind. 18 versus 13, 1-to-1. Add 1 to the die roll. I can't kill him, but maybe I can disorder him. That would have been a kill if not for the buildings. Damn it!
Oh.
That's the one I needed from the Apaches. I got it at the wrong time. Alright, split moving fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just in case he gets cute and dismounts that infantry. I can hose him down pretty well. Okay, other movement. Some opportunity fire. I'm assuming.
Yes, please.
Okay, with what? I'm assuming the guy's right there.
Yep, the Japs and everything else. Can the Apache and the guys in the woods see them as well?
Yeah, the same as before, except these guys are still mounted. So it's going to be 4, 16, 20. What did we say last time? 4,
28.
4, 16, plus 12 is 28, and then this whole stack has now fired and can't fire in your turn. Or later on this turn. And opportunity fire. Opportunity fire is for that whole gaggle. Okay. Plus this 14 equals
42.
Yep. Against either 8 or 16, up to you. You have to add 1 to the die roll for my woods.
I can disorder them all with a slim chance of a kill.
What's going on, Mr. Walkabout Games? Mr. Walkabout Games says, how's it going, eh? Walkabout Games, I'll get some Canadians in here. I'm sure the Canadians have a thing or two to say about the Chinese invading Taiwan, too. Get some troops mustered out of Vancouver, ship them across the Pacific, and throw them in there as a... in a combat. Forbro Bite says, hello, Major Ugly. Not sure who you're talking to, but hey, thanks for coming by the stream. And Rasmus has joined a bit late as we have a late lunch break. That's okay, Rasmus. You missed nothing except some YouTube nonsense. Where we... actually, the stream did not go live exactly on time. So, no worries. You didn't miss anything except for the usual starting a stream technical silliness.
So, if I just fire, so we're the defense is... Are they defenses 6 or 8?
8. Oh, sorry, yeah, it's 8. I'll zoom in a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's 6. You're not going crazy. It was 6 for Army infantry. These are Marines. It goes up to an 8.
Yep.
Even Chinese Marines are badass. Don't ever forget it. So it's 42 total, unless you want to split it up between those two in some weird kind of...
Yeah, I'm thinking...
Yeah, guys in the chat, Damon's being very careful here because he knows what's coming.
I need 24 to give me 3 to 1. Which is basically that northern set. Is there any advantage to the Japanese holding their fire when you attack?
Not really. It's really a judgment call, up to you. I mean, I've now moved 1 hex. I've spent 1 movement point, and I'm now adjacent to you, so I'm eligible for cat attack.
Yep.
And infantry modern cat attack versus armored vehicles is witheringly dangerous.
If I fire everything going for the pin on all of them.
At least you would break up the counterattack.
Yep. And it's 2 to 1, so that's
42 by 16. Yeah,
kill.
it would be 2 to 1. Add 1 to the die roll. So a 2 would normally kill me, but add 1 to the die roll. A 1 kills, and I think everything but a 5 or 6 disrupts.
I'll go for the pin on everything then.
5 or 6, 5 or 6, 5 or 6, 5 or 6, please! Sweet! Yes! Dun-dun-dun. China is here, Mr. Burton. China is here, Mr. Burton. Cat attack! With a whole swarm. That's 100 guys. Well, it's like 80 guys. 80 pissed off Chinese Marines who just neoed their way through all your machine gun fire. By the way, all these guys have now fired. So that's their fire phase for later in the turn. Very few things are going to go well for me in this game going forward. I'm going to do an end zone dance on this one. I do apologize for my poor sportsmanship. Here comes 16 versus 6. Oh, by the way, that's 16 triples because it's a cat attack, modern era cat attack versus armored targets. So it's now 16 times 3, what is that, 48 versus 6, 8 to 1. Subtract 2 from the die roll, add 1 to the die roll. Never mind, they're smoked. Smoke that fool. All right, and now I will
laugh it up for his ball.
I was gonna say now I will calm down because that was enough of that shit. Laugh it up, fuzzball. You didn't see me and her alone in the South Passage. She expressed her true feelings for me. What the hell? Talk about a scene that would not fly nowadays. That is kind of creepy. Just making up like fictitious interludes that never happened in public. I think Han is going to Rebel HR for that one. Chewie laughing at him is going to be the least of his problems. Alright, so I got lucky on that one. Sweet. Let me wrap up my turn here. These guys are fine where they are. Nothing else to move here. Yeah, my turns are going to get depressingly short from here on going forward. Alright, it is now Allied turn 7. We start off with you calling in new...
Plotting.
Yep, with your new artillery.
Plotting. I will drop on... they're still in...
Don't say it out loud!
Droning. Drone. 3, yeah, the drone can see them.
Okay, what got spotted so I can put the spotted counter on them?
The infantry carriers, that scuttled to the south of the woodland.
These guys here?
Yep.
I don't think you needed to make a spotting roll for them because I think they're in the open.
Are they? That's not woodland.
I don't think so. Let me check actually. Now that you got me thinking about it. I was playing the angle game. Yeah, that's open. 2818 is an open hex.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you see them automatically.
Yep. No. Yep.
So if you want to have that drone spot something else, go ahead. Don't waste your roll on something that didn't need the roll. Is what I'm saying. Do you want to say these guys are spotted? They are in the woods.
Which one? Sorry.
The infantry right just to the north of the APCs.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
We'll do that.
We'll obviously keep the same roll. There we go. All right, cool. Where did your artillery from last turn land?
On them.
Oh no! Now you didn't have them spotted before.
No, I plotted on the hex.
Yeah, so it's going to use the scatter diagram. So it lands in that hex on a 1 or a 2, it lands in an adjacent hex on a 3, 4, or 5, and on a 6 it dissipates.
Right.
Now, if you call in fire mission on that same hex this turn to land next turn, it will land normally because you now have that hex spotted via drones at the beginning of the artillery plotting phase.
Yep. Cool. So this is to see where it lands. 6.
Alright, so it dissipates and lands on nothing.
Yep.
So what he was doing, guys, was he was basically dropping shells into an empty hex that he couldn't see any enemy units in. Number one, he didn't have it spotted. Number two, at the time there were no enemy units in the hex, and he was hoping that I would walk into some of his howitzer shell or some of his mortar shells. In massed World War II artillery tactics, that actually sometimes works, because you hear these stories like Zhukov has like 100 guns per mile, like for the final assault on Berlin. One of the great things about Panzer Leader is you can actually set that up and you can see how it really looks on the gaming table. 100 guns per mile. A mile in this game is usually 7 hexes, and 100 guns is 20 artillery counters. So basically you triple stack heavy artillery counters in a solid line, and you wind up with 21 artillery counters in 7 hexes. And then you get 21 chances at that 6-to-1 at that D6 roll that he just whiffed, and yeah, you're going to start hitting stuff by just law of averages. That's World War II saturation fire. In modern combat, when there's not nearly as much indirect artillery on the table and everything is much more guided with drones and lasers and everything else, it becomes a little bit less common. But you know, sometimes old tricks are the best tricks. If he had managed to make that roll, that would have been 3 1-to-1 attacks, 8 versus 8 3 times, and he would have definitely pinned somebody down. That's for sure. Okay. Alright, so now we go to your direct fire phase.
Yep.
Now, your drones have spotted these guys. You're now in direct fire phase. They are soft targets. These I-class weapons can engage. Here in 3117. You can basically hose that thing down with 50 cals and Mark 19s and see what happens.
Can the tow carrier north see them as well still?
G-class weapons.
Tow carrier.
Well, it's an American one, but G-class weapons are not allowed to engage infantry.
Ah, that's a shame. Where's the Apache?
G-class weapons for people in the chat are allowed to engage soft targets,
fired.
but only if they're trucks, artillery pieces, or something like that. Or like bunkers. If those guys were in a designated bunker, you can hit the bunker. But you're not allowed to hit people with a G-class weapon. But if they're in a bunker, you're aiming at the bunker.
Fired, rather.
This Apache is fired, so he can move half.
Yep.
This guy still has to rally.
Yep. Anyway, they'll fire at the infantry in the wood. We can do some damage to them before they get too close.
It's going to be 3 I-class attacks. So how many are you engaging? They're 1-to-1 each. You have to add 1 to my to roll for my woods. So you can engage basically 1 at 3-to-1, or 3 of them at 1-to-1, or you can divide it up. You can engage 1 of them at 2-to-1 and the other another one at 1-to-1, or however you want to set it up.
Are they all just marine platoons?
Yep. I'll zoom in so we can see my gorgeous counters.
Okay, and they can. Yeah. They can move up to 2, can't they?
Yep. So you are technically already. Fair warning, you are already in cat attack range.
Mm-hmm.
You can fix bayonets and just run across and. I don't like that. I don't like their chances, but they are Chinese Marines, so they're expendable in 2 regards.
Let's see how grim it is when they actually do attack. I'll go for a 2-to-1.
Okay, so these 2 are going to attack this guy at 2-to-1, and then I guess this guy will attack another one at 1-to-1, so he's just not sitting there. Is that what you're saying?
So do they have to attack 1 each then?
No, they don't have to attack 1 each, but each unit is not allowed to divide its firepower. So you got 3. Basically, you have 3 8s, and my defenses are all 8s. So if you wanted a 2-to-1 attack, that would be 2 of these guys attacking
one of those.
and now this guy's like, what do I do?
Yep.
So he would, I would assume,
Yep.
attack another guy at 1-to-1, hoping for a dispersal.
What do I do? A 3-to-1.
That is another
Hoping
option.
for a kill.
You can put all 3 in there, and you kill on a 1 or a 2, a natural 1 or a 2, modified 3.
But that still leaves you 2 units to cat attack, which do a ridiculous attack factor.
Yeah, but I would have to cross 400 meters of open ground, and you would have opportunity fire before that.
Okay. I'll do a 3-to-1 attack to kill 1, to try and kill 1.
Okay, so yeah, 3-to-1, add 1 to the die roll.
3 becomes a 4.
He just survived. The wood saved him. That 3 would have killed him, except for the woods. Nevertheless, he is disordered. And these guys are now spotted. Herp, derp, schmerp, herp. Alright.
Rally the suppressed Apache.
Cool. 1 through a 5.
On a 5.
He does make
5.
it. Morale A. That's that motivating Fort Benning training right there. Hey, D. Mythios. It sounds like you are using upgraded Arab Israeli Wars rules. This is correct. D. Mythios, you are absolutely correct. We are using, for the most part, Arab Israeli War rules. Now, if you want to get the closest to the rules I'm using, the morale table, the CRT, and so on and so forth, look up something called, it's available on Google, Tactical Combat Middle East, TCME, by a company called Toshash Miniatures. Basically, they took Panzer Blitz, not even really Panzer Leader, they took Panzer Blitz and they rewrote it for 1991 Gulf War, complete with counters and map sheets and rule books and new charts and the whole 9 yards. B-52s, A-10s, you name it, Apaches. And they made it for 1991 Gulf War and 2003 Operation Iraqi Freedom. So that's kind of what I'm using. Although even that is largely Arab Israeli Wars. So kind of a mash between Arab Israeli Wars and Tactical Combat Middle East. You sort of call it Panzer Blitz 3rd and 4th edition, kind of a hybrid. But short answer, yes, you are absolutely correct. There is a lot of Arab Israeli War DNA in here. Although the maps and the counters are all my own. For, you know, Strikers, the M1A2 C version, or what used to be called SEP V3, the new hotness, M1 Abrams, Type 99As, although most of them just look like rec counters at this point, because I completely screwed up the way I deployed my 10th Armored Brigade. But we do still have one on the table somewhere. Yeah, these values are kind of out of control because, you know, 2,028 tanks. But I've lost most of them. I only have 1 platoon left. I think that was your only rally, so we go... Oh no, we have a rallied infantry unit down here, American Rifle Platoon. Damon, to rally at your convenience. 3 rallies. I think I've lost your sound, Damon. Are you still...
Yeah, it's alright.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm back. I forgot to unmute.
No worries, I saw the 3 on your dice tray. Guys, I would show his dice tray, but as you can see here, hopefully it shows up on the screen in just a second. It just comes out as like a black box on his Skype window. Yeah, so it doesn't show anyway, but I do see his dice tray.
The 2 Japanese units in the woods, if they debus, have they got enough movement left to cat attack your Marines?
You can never move infantry after they debus, so not this turn, but next turn perhaps. I would definitely debus before I cat attack you again. Yep. Alright.
Yep.
Now the vehicles can still move, but not the infantry themselves.
Debuffs.
But DI Mythios, if I'm saying that right, sharp eye. Yep, that is at least 70% correct as far as updated Arab-Israeli wars.
Moving.
I guess if you consider, I keep going, Damon. I'm just talking to the chat. I guess if you consider Tactical Combat Middle East updated Arab-Israeli wars, which I kind of would, yeah. But the most direct ancestor, or I should say basis, the most direct basis for this particular scenario is technically Tactical Combat Middle East by Toshash Miniatures, which is basically updated Panzer Leader Arab-Israeli wars.
The drone's already spotted for this turn, hasn't it?
Your one drone left. Yeah, you made a roll and you spotted those
Yep.
Chinese Marines here in 28-17.
So the stuff that did the cat attack is out of sight again, isn't it?
For the moment, yes. Well, no. You have at least one helicopter in the air, and I just launched a cat attack, and you saw that. You saw grenades going off, you saw muzzle flashes. Yeah, technically he did launch an attack in cover. He is spotted. However, everybody that can see him has either already fired in opportunity fire phase, or just recovered, and that was basically its attack phase.
Yep.
But actually, you're correct. They are spotted.
So can the armor move? Yes, the armor can move.
With this many helicopters and drones in the air, pretty much everything's spotted. I should probably start taking these spotted counters off of here. I should put counters on there when you're not spotted. I'd have less counters on the map.
The tanks will.
Oh God! This is the fist of God up here, man. Holy crap! For people in the chat, especially D Mythios, who sounds like he's pretty familiar with this, this is a typo. This should, in fact, I should have fixed that before the stream today. Sorry, guys. I've had 2 weeks to fix this and I didn't do it. That should read 36, not 26.
So if they move forward, they'll attract opportunity fire from this stuff around the village.
They have a movement rate of 14, so they won't attract opportunity fire until they move until they spend 4 movement points. Let me be precise. So you have to move a quarter of your movement before you trigger opportunity fire. In my continuous line of sight.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that would be super cheese.
Go for it.
But it would put me out in the open in front of you. 1, 2, 2.5. That will put me on the objective.
There's one of those huge green iguana lizards on the railing right outside my porch. He's come here to check out the Panzer Leader game. What's up, dude? He's got to be at least a foot long without the tail. That's badass. He wants to roll some dice, man. If I could stream my phone right now, I would totally take a picture of him. Yeah, so this is technically Team Whiskey, 1st of the 35th Armor, and a little bit of Task Force Kumamoto. People in the chat. And it's, yeah, these are some serious units up in here. Not looking forward to this.
I mean, they can just roll onto the objective hex, and they've only moved 3.5, 2.5 points if they roll down the carriageway.
Yeah, 1, because they get double movement. Well, yeah, because you'd be moving 1 unit at a time. So 1, 2, 2.5, and they can either stop there or they can move somewhere else.
Then you'd have to go back and reoccupy the hex.
Or blow you out of it. Yeah, I do see. I have pretty good. I have that hex covered. Word to the wise. Which I need to stop doing. That's why I'm losing this game. But yeah, Hex 1009, there are a lot of Chinese gun sites pointing on that right now.
Yep. So the Japanese will banzai onto the objective.
All right.
And then turn northeast and drop down behind the edge of the ridge.
1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, like that.
Can they fire at the objective hex if you move there now?
No, because there is a hex between us, elevation-wise.
They'll stay on the reserve. They'll stay on the reverse slope then.
Yep. Now there they've got to cover.
You can't see them there, can you? Yep.
Right now, no. So basically, you're taking my tactic and flipping it around and using it against me. I've got it covered right now via reverse slope, and by doing this, you're now covering it via reverse slope.
And applying the letter of the law, I occupy the hex. I've claimed the... Okay. So...
word to the wise, the command tanks cannot see that hex. Hex 1008 blocks them. Actually, 1008 and 1108 block them. However,
he will advance 2
as
hexes.
You already know, these guys can definitely see it.
Yep. Command tank will advance 2 hexes southwest and stay on the reverse slope as well.
So because we have a player here, thank you for the reply. I used to play convention circuit back in the late 70s and late 80s before going professional in miniatures. Very good. Panzer Leader, yeah, absolutely. Panzer Leader, Arab Israeli Wars, absolutely great. My 3 favorite games in the world, although they're really all kind of the same game. You've probably noticed this, since we have a Panzer Leader fan in the group. Again, that 26 should read 36, that's a typo. But this is basically a half platoon. This is a headquarters. So standard US armor companies are 3 platoons of 4 tracks. So that's the 56. That should read 36. 2 stars for modern 2020s Chabum armor. Tusk kit, along with what else is there? That Sep 3 version armor, depleted uranium, HA variant, all that craziness. And then the 28 is like basically a half platoon. That's the 66 and the 65 tank. That's the CO and the XO. That's why we have 2 very different values for M1A2s. I apologize. What did you say you're doing with your 2 full platoons, if anything?
1 platoon will drop onto the clover leaf.
All right, he'll do the same thing.
No, sorry. He'll go one hex southeast onto the Cloverleaf Road.
Oh, southeast. I gotcha.
Yep. And
okay.
Then he'll use road movement to get as close to the Apache as he can, moving on the road behind the embankment.
So here are 4 Abrams. Ready? 1. Is this our exit, sir? Yes, this is our exit. Get off here. Get off here. I have to go to the bathroom, but there's a gas station here. 2, 3, 4, merge with traffic. 5, 6, 7.
And what can he see looking south?
Right now, almost nothing, because 1313 blocks him, 1213 blocks him. He can see into these hexes pretty well. Because he's looking through 1413, which is not an elevation hex.
Can he see the mortar carrier? He can't because of the terrain,
because
can
of
he?
1213, 1313. He's on the wrong. He's on the wrong side of the ridge or the embankment.
Yep. If he was there.
Rasmus says, if there's anything to be left in the open, it'll be those tanks. Goddamn right. Because I just don't have the weapons left to take them out. I might be able to disorder them. I have frittered away the available firepower that I have. If he comes over that slope and just occupies 1009 and stays there long enough for me to actually get a shot at him, I might have enough to possibly, you know, screw him up. He might have to, yeah, I might be able to kill one of them, but even that would be, I need a good roll.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. How does he need to go? How far can he get?
All right, so this guy has so far used, this platoon has so far used 7 movement points. We'll call it 8 movement points, so the commander had enough time to jump out and take a leak at the gas station there at the... I told you to stop, driver! We didn't stop at this highway overpass for no reason.
I think that's...
It's an Abrams road trip. Cool. And that will...
And the other one will...
Okay.
I think he'll sit there for now.
He's got a pretty good field of fire on that objective X. He's kind of keeping these guys pinned down. Well, not really, because he's blinded to the front. But no worries.
They've got to come to him if they want to engage. And you've got to go up onto the objective to do anything with it, and then I unleash hell.
Unleash hell, but I could send an expendable unit up there. If there's anything the Chinese army has, plenty of it's expendable units. Then you have to come take the objective X again. But who knows? Now we're starting to get gamey. So, okay, cool. So we're done with movement. We'll now start turn 8. Get Mr. Stream going here. We're almost done, guys. Okay. Plot new artillery. Okay, it's now plotted. Okay, old artillery comes in on hex 3217. Boom. Okay, so here we go. It's not as bad as it sounds because you're in concrete buildings. So, Chinese automatic mortar launcher has an attack factor of 16, does not double because I'm not using direct fire. So it stays at 16. 16 versus 5, versus 8 plus 5 for concrete buildings equals 13, 1-to-1 odds. Add a 1 to the die roll. Come on, man, you do me a favor. 3 becomes a 4, he's disordered. 8 versus 4 becomes 9. So it's actually 1 to 2. Oh crap. Because it gets divided in half versus armor targets. No effect. Same on the mortar carrier. 1 becomes a 2. He's disordered. No more American mortar fire, at least for the moment. Nice. That I will go ahead and take for now. Okay. Let me wrap up my direct fire down here. That rifle platoon never dismounted. Which, by the way, I shouldn't... Oh, wait, never mind. We allow mounted fire. Never mind. Arab Israeli War Rules. Section 2, Special Unit Capabilities, Mounted Infantry Fire. So, there you go. D-Mythios, or Di-Mythios, if I'm saying that right. Yeah, we are literally doing some of these rules out of the Arab Israeli War Rulebook. 1977 Avalon L. Okay, so... I'm going to try to rally that Chinese infantry platoon. Chinese rifle platoon. Marine platoon, I'll get it right one of these days. He fails. Oh man, come on. That wraps things up here. Okay, over here we've got 6 points, 6 points, 6 points, 18 total points. Direct fire into the soft target. 18 versus 7, that's 2 to 1, add 1 to the die roll. Oh wait, he's not spotted technically. Alright, let me see if my drones can spot him. Come on, Mr. Drone, do me a favor, I need a 1 through a 3. Hell yeah, I got him. Alright, now he is spotted. Now, where were we? Oh yes. 18 versus 7, which is a sloppy 2 to 1. Add 1 to the woods. Add 1 to the die roll because of woods. 5 becomes a 6, no effect. And now this guy has given away his position. What is this again? I keep getting the name wrong. QW1 Mad Pads versus Apache. One of these times, guys, come on. Someone say a prayer for me. Winnie the Pooh, help me. 3, nope, he's just disordered.
You know all he's going to do is annoy the Apache.
One of these days, I'm annoying the shit out of him. One of these days, I'm gonna get lucky, I swear to God. I have to, it's gotta happen. One of these damn days. Demythios, we play with 200 or 150 meter hexes, so in this version of the game, our stacking limit is 3 instead of 4. See, now that we actually got like a Arab Israel War player in the actual chat, I have to like explain things a little more carefully, because otherwise they'll be like, "Oh, you didn't do that right." And I'll be like, "I know, I kind of get it, but 1, 2, 3, 4 to move out of the gully. Is there any opportunity fire there? Because I am within 2 hexes of 31, 17. It's literally 24 points versus 6. It's 4 to 1 if you take out one of them.
But then what will the infantry do? The infantry can come marching in, can't they?
Oh yes, that will be their opportunity fire. Dilemma tactics, folks. Give the enemy 2 equally unenviable choices.
I'm going to hold fire.
Cool. 3, 4. Now you've lost sight of me. This is probably kind of stupid, but see, I would like to. What the hell? Anything crazy up here? There's one Cloud Leopard, but he's blocked by another Building X. Okay, no worries. Yeah, I'll do that. This is annoying. I really wish this clown had rallied. Since these 2 guys are spotted anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes away, I can put half of my fire in there with a 2-star movement, a range rule from Panzer Leader, so that it's a total of 8 points for 2 platoons. 8 versus 2. I have to add 2 to the result. Never mind. I'm trying to blind some of his drones. His drones are starting to piss me off. God, I have like nothing left. I have really lost this game. Okay, I think that'll be it for my turn for now. So yeah, over to the Allies for turn 8. Jeez, that wasn't very good at all.
So no mortar fire.
Yep. Straight to your direct fire phase.
Okay. Okay. So we've got that infantry in the woods that cat attacked. They're still spotted, aren't they?
I apologize. I was looking at the chat. What was the question? Is someone spotted? There's a lot of shit spotted. The answer is probably yes.
The cat infantry. The infantry that cat attacked me last turn. They're still spotted, aren't they?
Yes, because none of these units have moved. Or yeah.
I think I need to get medieval on their ass.
Okay. Oh god, there's a lot of firepower now. Is that Abrams going to join? Off the reverse slope? Swivel turrets around over the engine block and just cook off?
I think so, yes.
Nice. Okay, so again, because we've got Arabs Really Wars guy in the chat now, we have what we're calling dual class ammunition, so A star. So normally A-class weapons divide in half against soft targets. Within half, it doubles, obviously, and so on. But against soft targets, it always divides. Unless you're greater than half range, then it quarters. That's out of the Weapons Directive Stable chart. I'm sorry, WEC of Arab Israeli Wars. With the star, what we're allowing is dual class ammunition. So HE, heat, HE frag, or flechette. So these rounds will fire, and they against soft targets, they never double like H-class weapons. They never divide like regular A-class weapons. They just stay at 56. So that suddenly makes Abrams firing 120mm HE frag shells very, very dangerous infantry busters. And I'm pretty sure the record in Iraq kind of bears that out. So we got 56 plus 8 for the Stryker, 8 for mounted infantry, 4 for the Cloud Leopard, 12 for the automatic cannon on the Apaches. Good God almighty. 88 total points. You have to add 1 to the die roll. How many? You want to engage 1 or both platoons?
What's the odds on just the Abrams firing into the infantry? It's 56 versus 16, isn't it?
Yep.
If I engage both.
So, real quick, I forgot to try and rally those heavy weapons. Those heavy weapons do rally. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's 3-1, isn't it? Take on both platoons.
56 divided by 16? Yeah, that sounds right. I'm bad at division. 56 divided by 16 is, yep, 3-1.
So that's 2s to kill because of the woods.
Right.
And anything else suppresses, doesn't it?
Pretty much. I'm pretty sure a modified 7 suppresses.
I'll go for that.
If you roll a 6, they don't suppress. Now you can't shoot at them again. Okay, go ahead.
Yep, I'll do that.
All right.
Abrams will fire to suppress, maybe kill, but oh, you mother!
Got a 6?
Yep.
Nice. Somebody brought paint rounds. The Chinese Marines are laughing at you. Winnie the Pooh is with us today.
So.
And that's the only direct fire that those 2 units can take this turn.
Yep. The other units will fire at the weapons team.
Cool. We figured that out before. That was 26 versus 5. Add 1 for light buildings.
Yep. So that's.
I'm assuming that's all the infantry, mechanized infantry, and Apache chain gun?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, 26 versus 5, 1-1. I'm sorry, 5-1. Add 1 to the roll for
1.
There's the one you were looking for before. So he is smoked. Actually, hold on.
Can they do it, and what are the odds on the Japanese cat attacking the Marines?
Oh, that'd be a fun battle. You have to kind of do it by having those 2 platoons converge in this hex, and here's why. One of those platoons is a heavy weapons platoon. Heavy weapons platoon uses the old MG sections out of World War II Panzer Leader. They cannot cat attack unless they are stacked with and accompanied by friendly infantry.
Yeah, that was my plan, is to just go in. merge in the woods and then...
Now, I would get, you would not violate stacking because there's one stacking point worth of rec counters in there.
Is it worth it?
We catch him on the chat. You're super fast. Let's see here. Ralph says to the moon. Yeah, some people are definitely getting blown off to the moon. Like, modern weapons do not play around, man. The lethality of these weapons is serious. Demithio says it's been rather fun watching you guys play. Yeah, that's kind of what the point is. We, again, we're scattered all over the world, so even without COVID, we can't always get around the table. So it's tough to play physically in the traditional sense. So we try to, have some sort of a game. We game with members of our community. We can have members of the community play each other virtually like this, or they can play against me virtually, whatever works out. Yeah, Ben says, these games are awesome. I'm blown away by the values of some of these modern units. We don't pick these numbers at random. These numbers are actually arrived at. And again, Tactical Combat Middle East by Toshash Miniatures arrives at them. Northeast Atlantic Gaming Group is another really good gaming group that's done some killer research in how they actually come up with these modern values. And yeah, there's other people that do this for sure. We've definitely come a long way from the old Mark IIIs versus S-35s. Oh, 1940. Panzer Leader 1940. That's still some of my favorite stuff. Early World War II is fun Panzer Leader because the weapons, unlike here, have crap for range. The killing power is actually not that bad because the killing power is really the delta between lethality of the weapon and armor and survivability of the target. So as the guns get more powerful, the vehicles and the units get more, get more survivable. So the lethality is kind of the same. It doesn't change that much between like 1940 and 1944. What changes out of all recognition, and this is why you play hex and counter games, because this is something miniature games almost never get right, outside of GHQ micro armor and stuff like that, is the range. Unless you're playing on a table 30 feet across, which again, invite me to that table. I want to come see that game. That would look awesome. But other than that, by the time the units even get on your table, they're already within one hex as far as Panzer Leader goes. So your whole perspective of range is shot. But in early war Panzer Leader, that's the beautiful thing, man, is the ranges are so short, and that opens up the board for crazy maneuvers. You can maneuver on those tables like you cannot maneuver in late war Panzer Leader, or definitely like 2028 Taiwan. That's for sure. Ben says, oh my god, I wouldn't want to see what 120mm flechettes do to infantry. Well, there are some people who've been in Iraq that might be able to tell you. Yeah. So Demithio says, yes, the same mechanics are in play. Ben Johnson, I get what you're saying. I can see why the Abrams defense factor, comparatively speaking. Yeah, it definitely is crazy. The Abrams now are just so... Now, I should start knocking points off the Abrams movement speed, because that tank is getting fat. Between the heavy armor, the depleted year armor, the Tusk tank urban survival kit, the SEP version 3 armor, that tank is getting heavier and heavier, and it's nowhere near as fast as it used to be. But it is getting more survivable. But anyway. Yeah, so if you did this, I mean, I don't know if it would work. It might be fun to try. But if you move like that, that triggers opportunity fire. That's 16 points. Point blank. I would probably put it into that weapons section anyway. So do you want to go for it?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Alright, cool. Here comes a counter assault, along with some of my opportunity fire. Again, I've got 16 points of infantry fire. Also 6 points. Also 6 points. Can't see. I don't have the angle on it. So it's going to be 6 and 6 and 8 and 8.
28.
Divided by 5. It's got a lower defense value because it's a much smaller unit. That's the reason. They're not inherently weaker people. They're just... That's a section of 20 instead of a platoon of 30. Or something like that. Equals 5 to 1 odds. Add 1 to the die roll. Come on, man. I gotta destroy more people. Just like they say in Mulan. Mulan, help me! Wait, what was the name of Eddie Murphy Dragon in Mulan? That's what I need to pray to. What the hell was his name? Mushu? Mushu, help me! Or is that vaguely racist? If it's racist, it's Disney's fault, not mine. He smoked.
Yeah.
Now, the counterattack can still go in. It's just not really that great. 8 to my 16, it's 1 to 2 odds. Plus 1 to the die roll for my woods, subtract 2 from the die roll for counterattack. It does not triple because you're not attacking armor targets. So it's 8 versus, 1 to 2, net, subtract 1 from the die roll. Roll low.
1! Yes.
Oh, damn! They literally drew their samurai swords and said, Banzai!
Banzai!
Banzai! 1 to 2, you roll the natural 1. Like I said, net subtract 1. That's subtract 2 from the die roll for counterattack and 1 for woods. Becomes a modified 0. Net subtract 1. 0 on 1 to 2 is X. That is 2 platoons of Chinese Marines wiped out by Japanese samurai swords. That did cost you a weapons platoon, but damn, that was awesome. They literally just went in there. Before they went in, they tied like those rising sun headbands around their foreheads and just said, "We're going in, man.
Passed around the fatty.
We're not all going to make it back, but here we go."
That's 2,000 years of rage.
Oh my god. That's what looking at 30 years of manga kiddie porn will do to you. It turns you into a freaking psychopath that just chops up people in the jungle. That's not right. Alrighty. Okay. Technically, that takes place at the end of turn, but we got a little carried away there. Any other movement you're doing? We also have to try to rally your mortars and your riflemen in hex 3217.
Mortars, rally, on a 3.
Rifles.
5.
Does rally, and Apaches up there on the embankment.
1.
Oh, everyone rallies. Damn, these people.
Apache will fix bayonets.
Fix bayonets. See, now Damon's all fired up. He's ready to bayonet charge everybody now. I was watching a YouTube documentary yesterday about HMS Warspite. I just remember when you were wanting to fix bayonets on the Warspite and crash it into Gold Beach on D-Day. I was like, I don't think that's how it works.
Yep.
I don't think Panzer Leader has rules for that.
Should have kept that ship as a museum.
Yeah, that's exactly the video I was watching. Curator of the American USS New Jersey. Funny you should say that. He was watching the video that is top 10 ships I wish had been preserved. Guess which was number 1? Warspite was number 2. Legit, Warspite was number 2. Number 1, USS
Enterprise.
Absolutely Enterprise. Yep. That is a crying shame.
That's what they should name all the new carriers.
It is. It's that was the 9th ship to carry the name Enterprise. CVN
Yorktown, Lexington, and Saratoga.
There have been Yorktown, Lexington,
even as an Englishman, seeing those 3 ships sailing would be fucking amazing.
Yeah. Even as an Englishman, just to see those. Well, Lexington wasn't really a British defeat. Technically, we lost 8 killed, and 1 British Marine was slightly wounded at Lexington. Later that day came Concord Bridge, which was actually the first British fatality of the American Revolution, technically. And that was like 30 minutes later. But then April 19th, 1775, that's the Boston Road home. Holy shit, that was Black Hawk Down, the prequel. That just became a fucking nightmare. But we are way off topic. But technically that's all the same. It all took place on the same day, 19 April. But God, yeah. But there is another Enterprise coming. I think the first Gerald Ford class carrier, CVN-78, that is of course going to be the Gerald Ford. I think the second one is the JFK. That's going to be commissioned in 2022, 2023, 2025, something like that. And then Congress has already passed the legislation. The one that comes after that is going to be CVN 80 is going to be USS Enterprise. There will almost always be a USS Enterprise in the U.S. Navy.
Cool.
We've had one since 1775. A schooner USS Enterprise was the only ship to survive Valcour Island in October of '76, and it's just gone forward from there. Technically, we're in a gap right now because CVN 65 was decommissioned, I think, in 2020 or 2018, something like that. But the next Enterprise is on her way, so good to go on that. With the electromagnetic catapults, we literally are going to railgun our friggin' planes into the air now with these new carriers. I love it. No more steam catapults. Okay, so all right, cool. Let's go ahead.
Missile carrier.
Yep.
That's going to scoot.
Where is the Japanese missile carrier? Is this
Just
missile?
to the south. Yep.
Technically, that's an American missile carrier. That's part of Team Whiskey.
Is it? Oh right, sorry. I thought it was Japanese. It's an American one. Yeah, not to worry.
Well, it's been stacked with Japanese counters all game, so he's basically Japanese by this point. They've been passing him sake all through the battle, so he's good.
He's just heard what the Japanese infantry have done. And he's like, yeah, okay, we're Japs.
Yep, we are now.
He's going to use the road and scuttle east and head back into the town where the rest of my units are assembled.
That movement rate of 18, yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah, and he's going to go into the southernmost town hex.
Ooh, nice. I see what's going on.
So that beefs that up a bit.
That's going to make this position a little less tenable. Sir, there are tow missiles to the north. We got to watch out.
That, I think that's everything for now.
Cool.
Yeah, that'll do.
We're almost there, folks. Second to last turn. Okay. Calling in artillery. Cool. 3117 is my artillery for this turn. It's basically all landing here, which is much nicer because it's in wooden buildings, not in concrete buildings. So I don't add 5 to all those defense values. So 8 versus, well, 16 becomes 8 versus armored target. So it's 8 versus 6, 1-to-1 odds. Subtract 1. Add 1 to the die roll against that first striker carrying infantry. 4 becomes a 5, no effect, against that second striker, which is not carrying anything. Oops, show the damn dice cam. Get it in the box, damn it. 2 becomes a 3, he's disordered. Okay, that's it for my artillery. Direct fire phase. 6, 6, and 6 is 18 versus 11. I'm sorry, versus 13. Damn, that still sucks. I still can only disorder if I get lucky. 4, I didn't even get, oops, I didn't even disorder. That was these 3 guys, point blank fire into that platoon, because they're in concrete buildings. Try very much to rally this fool. 2, he does rally this time. But he does not get split movement fire, so he's stuck there for the turn. Movement phase. Okay, opportunity fire, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Okay.
Against the infantry.
16 points versus 8. That's going to be 2-to-1 against one of them, or 1-to-1 against 2 of them.
The cat attack's going to stomp me anyway. I'll go for 2. See if I can suppress 2 of them.
Okay, so that is 1-to-1 against 2 of them. Roll a dice, please.
3.
That does disorder 2 of them. Well done. That leaves me with just 1 left. 8 versus 20, or becomes 24 versus not quite 24, so it's knocked it down from 3 to 1 to 1 to 1. Subtract 2 from the die roll, subtract 1 from the die roll. Is just basically 1 to 1, subtract 1 from the die roll. I could still do this. Come on, baby, please. Help me out here. Little Eddie Murphy Dragon. Do it. My baby's going off to destroy people. 5, damn it. 5 becomes a 4 on 1 to 1 odds. That is just disordered. He got away with that. Ah, carnage. They already fired. He did his attack. Okay, moving over. Opportunity fire, opportunity fire. No opportunity fire. He fired. Mortar phase. These guys here.
Oh, damn.
I'm going to go ahead and stay put. That is probably one of the... Oh, wait. You know what time it is. Time for the world's most pointless manpad system. Give me a 1. Damn it, do it! Finally! Down goes an Apache! Smoke that fool! I told you it was going to happen sooner or later. Apache shot down out of the sky by Chinese manpads. Nice. Okay, now I can lose in peace and honor, because I shot down at least 1 Apache. I would rather have blown up 1 Abrams platoon, but I'll take what I can get. That was revenge for those flankers you shot down 2 weeks ago. Okay, I think I've rallied everything. That will clean up the turn. Those guys just got disorder, so I don't get to rally them yet. Technically, this guy spotted... Oh, I can't do that. I always keep doing that. I keep overloading that hex. There are 2 rec counters in there. They count against the stacking limit for the hex. Cool. Over to the Americans for turn 9 while I catch up on Mr. Chat. Rasmus says you can play a cat attack on the table. Yeah, so to Rasmus's point, what winds up happening, and where I think things like bolt action, or maybe not bolt action, but definitely Flames of War, where their tables actually come from, if you do the math and you actually figure out what the scale really is. No outline. No. Damn it. This is what happens when I'm always like half a click behind. No fill, dude. Is you wind up with something like this. This is like an 8x4 or an 8x6 Flames of War table. So 400 meters, that equals 4 meters. What's 4 meters? 4 meters is like 13 feet, that's too much. But something like this. That's like an 8x4 Flames of War table. However, what winds up happening is you could have something like this. Like say you had a battle between these 3 hexes. Like 2 guys cat attacking into 1 hex or whatever. Like say these 2 hexes were cat attacking into 1805. And you set up your Flames of War table like that. Now you can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You put 9 platoons on the table at once. That's 360 infantry figures, if they're all infantry figures. Probably more like 100 infantry figures and maybe like 20 tanks, 30 tanks. That's a big Flames of War table. That's what's happening. That's what Flames of War looks like in the eyes of Panzer Leader. As we see here, 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 we're going to see here probably in a little bit. We definitely saw here. That stuff does happen. I'm not trying to say Flames of War tables are not accurate or whatever. But they're only a very, very small part of the way warfare works, especially modern warfare. And they do not give you a comprehensive picture of what tank combat, or any kind of combat after 1900, ever looks like. Not even close. Some of the units in Flames of War, because it's a true line of sight game, so that the table has to be to scale with the miniatures, would have ranges of up to 700 feet, like the big artillery, like big 25 pounders, German 115 centimeters, stuff like that, or 150 millimeters if you prefer, you know, big American long toms. Those things are, you know, they shoot like 600 feet on a 15 millimeter table. That's where you have your off-board artillery, but they don't want you to use off-board artillery because then you don't have to buy the miniatures and blah blah blah. I won't get up on that soapbox. But eventually those kind of battles do happen, and that's when, yeah, to Rasmus's point, that's when you set up the Flames of War table. Let's see here. Catching up on Mr. Chat. Yeah, Bonsai. Yeah, that was a great roll. That was perfect. My favorite naval history guy is, I don't recognize him. Do I ever watch his stuff? I do not recognize him. I will try to look up the guy. Okay, I cannot pronounce that. Are you familiar with that channel, Damon?
He's good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I watch it all the time. He's really good.
I'll definitely check him out now. Shit. Three.
Did an excellent series on the salvage of Pearl Harbor. Did 3 episodes. It's like really interesting stuff.
3 smart people have now recommended him. So let me see if I can find the guy that. Hold on. Go to a different YouTube window. I want to see if I can find this guy because I feel like you and I watched the same video yesterday. Top 10 warships that should have been preserved as like museum ships. I'm just doing like a blind YouTube search here. That's him. Top 10 warships that should have been saved as museums. The name of the channel is easy to remember. It's called Battleship New Jersey. There you go, Ben. If you can't remember that channel. Yeah. So I've only watched 2 of his videos so far, and they were both like really correct. I mean, he knows more than I do, so I won't say he's correct. But I guess I should say I felt smarter because I like agreed with all the stuff that he was saying. And I was like, yeah. I actually, I'm not going to say, well, he's smart because he agrees with me. I'm going to say the reverse. I feel smarter because you know, he runs a museum. He obviously is going to know more than me. Okay, so American turn 9.
Right. So they've run away from the missile carrier. So straight shootiness. Everything's run away from the Abrams.
Well, yeah.
Or have they?
Or died.
Yes, they have. Yes, there's a thing in the way there.
Technically, I had 3 platoons that did not run away from the Abrams. They just died.
And then the Abrams just watched the Japanese go mad with the swords.
Yep. I picture American tank crewmen in the turrets, or they're looking through their battle sights, and they're watching, and then they just kind of like look away and turn off the sight. They're like, "That's difficult to watch. I just don't even want to." I'm gonna get enough PTSD from this. I don't need to see what's going on in those woods. Just turn off the radio. I don't need to hear the screaming.
That's going to be another turn. That's on turn 9, so it's going to be. Is he going to get that one? If button maybe. Certainly slowed him down that bit. That's good. Don't know if I need to move a lot.
Well, before we go to movement, is there any fire? Unless you're talking about your remaining Apache?
Yeah, he can go. I know what he can do. He can go. He can come driving over to the northwest side of the village, where Task Force Rapier is.
Oh, northwest. Okay. Like.
Yep, just there.
Okay.
That'll do. And he can make some fire onto the infantry in the open.
12 points. Who is he engaging? I'll zoom in a little bit.
Some of those dispersed bodies.
Alright, so he can attack one of them at 1-to-1 odds, but he gets to subtract 1 from the die roll because they are dispersed. and a double D is red as a kill.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Do that.
25 millimeter chain gun or 30 millimeter chain gun time.
That'll do.
Oh God, yeah, he's toast. Yeah, I think you have stabilized your south wing there.
Take the edge if it's slowed you down enough that you might not get it. That's cool. Gonna need 2 turns to mass up enough to go in against this one. Unless, no. So do something. There's no. Could they? No, because I'd leave that other one open.
Dimithios.
No, I think.
If you're, give me 2 seconds, Damon. Dimithios, if you're still with us,
Yep.
I am putting a link in our YouTube chat. If you see it there, if you want to, that's an invite link to our Discord. In our Discord, we talk about all kinds of miniature stuff as well as hex and counter games. We basically do all kinds of historical gaming, or real life military gaming, war gaming, I should say. But we do focus on post 1945. So I'd say 2/3 of what we do is 1945 or after 1945, but we do also World War II, World War I. We've done a little American Civil War and American Revolution, so on and so forth. There's some people in our Discord that do Napoleonics. Oh, Pyotr has joined us. Hello, Pyotr. Man, it's got to be late where you're at. Pyotr, you're just in time to watch me get the hell beat out of me. Yeah, I'm getting the hell spanked out of me today, that's for sure. His Apaches are now chewing up my my poor pinned down Chinese infantry in the open. My poor Chinese Marines. This is after he just sent a platoon of Japanese in here to just shish kebab my poor Chinese infantry with samurai swords. Hex 1614 just turned into a fucking Kurosawa movie for a second there, man. That was bloody. That was not pretty at all.
I'm gonna save that one.
That was good. That was good. If we ever make like a Sitrep highlight reel, that's going in there, and your Centaurs are going in there. That was an awesome one. Oops, I went out way too much. Sorry, I lost the map. Okay, so wrapping things up and moving the stream forward, any more direct fire? If not, we're going to try to rally your 3 platoons in that town.
No, that'll do.
31-17.
Yeah,
let's rally some folks.
So, first unit,
Stryker rallies. Rifle platoon, who is now dismounted.
3.
He also rallied. And the other Stryker.
2.
Everyone rallies. The only thing that really changed there was the rifle platoon is now dismounted. When a unit gets disordered, a passenger unit gets disordered, it automatically unloads. It literally shits the infantry, along with their pants, probably. Alright. We know they're spotted. We can get rid of that for now. Okay, now it's time for movement. If any.
Cheesy. No, we said no.
And right now you're standing on 4 objective hexes. So it's up to you how much you move. I'm not telling you not to.
If I move anything in that town, you get opportunity fire, don't you?
It depends on what you move and where it moves and...
No, those 3 units of rally can't move yet, can they? They can't move till next turn.
The 2 vehicles can because they are turreted AFEs. You talk about these guys that just rallied. The infantry cannot.
Yep.
Because it's not a turreted AFE.
That'd leave the infantry on their own for the cat attack.
Pewter says, finally some time to watch anything, and I do not remember the last time I was on Discord. Oh, I'm sorry. I think you were commenting on my solution to Valor and Victory Stalingrad Scenario 1. I think was the last time I remember seeing you on Discord, because signed Sitrep on the Apache. Smoke that sucker, yeah! Yes, my favorite line in Top Gun. Besides, 2 of your snot-nosed jockeys did a flyby of my tower at 400 knots. Okay, Matthews, I definitely appreciate it that you're still here. I just wanted to check, and if you're interested, if Discord's not really your thing, I get it. But there is the link, like 5 posts above, that should lead you to our Discord if you're interested in checking us out. We've got a lot of people. We've got like 80 people in our community that always put up miniature photos, hex encounter photos, play testing for upcoming hex encounter video game releases, the Matrix games, Slytherin, Yobo War games, Valorant Victory release, and so on and so forth. We try to stay active.
The Abrams platoon that's on its own will move 2 hexes southeast.
The one down here in the south? Because they're technically all by
their
own.
They'll move it. Yeah, they'll move along the road. Sorry, they'll move along the road, Jim.
Southeast, my bad. One. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And now they've got line of sight on the mortar carrier, haven't they?
Yes.
That'll do.
I have all these spotted counters for units that no longer exist. Their burning corpses are definitely spotted.
So all of the Japanese stuff, can they move this turn?
Yeah, because the cat attack was last turn, so yep, now it's their normal turn to move.
Will they attract any opportunity fire if they move though in the woods?
The infantry unit may attract a little, actually, no, blocked by town hex here.
So they'll move into the town hex next to the Abrams. And the northern infantry carrier will join them. And the other infantry carrier will join them.
Cool.
And all of the guys in
are technically
the wood.
no longer spotted because everyone who's looking at them is now dead.
How far can they get? They'll go into the wood, into the concrete buildings just south of the Japanese.
Who is that? All these vehicles up here?
Yep, yep.
They definitely have the movement points. I'm just making sure they don't catch any opportunity fire. Yeah, no worries. Damn, I really am almost tabled. Look at this.
In fact, how much fire will they attract if they go one further?
It depends on which hex they move into.
Into the concrete buildings.
They'll attract more fire, but they're in concrete buildings.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Alright. He's going for a 5 hex decisive victory. Folks. Here's the crazy thing, he just might do it too. Oh my god. Okay, any other movement?
No, I think that'll do for now.
Turn
Thank
10.
you.
Last turn of the game.
No, it's too late.
Alright, mortar fire coming in. My last mortar mission comes in on 3117 again. 16 versus 6, that is 2-to-1 odds. Versus your infantry platoon, +1 to the die roll. Oh shit, sweet. That's a 1, becomes a 2, that is 1 unit killed. Next, 16 becomes 8 versus 6, that is 1-to-1. I am, oh shit, I'm not showing the die tray. That was 6, that was a clean miss. And then again for the other striker. 1, that's another kill.
Ooh. That changes it a bit.
And a soft kill in there as well. So smoke columns are where non-armored targets have been killed. For people in the chat, rec counters are of course the legally required rec counters. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put infantry fire 6, 6, and 6, 3-to-1, which I forgot to do last turn, but that's my own loss. 3-to-1 against a disrupted target. Add 1 to the build. Add 1 for building. Subtract 1 for disorder. Double D will do it. 4. That's a double D dispersal on 3-to-1 table. He is now smoked. Now that allows him to move into that stack, where I'm sure he's going to catch all kinds of ungodly opportunity fire.
Yes, please.
DI. I do not think I see your invite, as it sounds interesting. Okay, I will repost it again. Here it is. Again, it should be right beneath your. It should be popping up any minute now, right beneath your. It'll be an HTML link. You just click on that link or put it in your search bar. It is safe. It's just a Discord link, and it'll ask you if you want to join our Discord. And Ben or Dimythios, do me a favor. Do you guys remember? Do mortars have a minimum range? I know howitzers do. I don't think mortars do. In fact, I'm almost positive they don't. Just for now, just to wrap up the stream, I'll say they don't. But that would be mortars on direct fire, which means. Because wait, do you have a fire mission planned for him? I don't think you could have because he was disrupted last turn.
No, he was disrupted, yeah.
So he does not have a fire mission for him. Yeah, it's legal for him to take opportunity fire. Now, if I look this up later, guys, and there is a minimum range for mortars, I do apologize. But for now, I don't think there is. I know there is for H-class weapons. H parentheses indirect fire weapons. It's 1/4 of the total range. But I don't think that applies to M-class units. So that would be direct fire mortars, Arab Israeli Wars, weapons effectiveness chart that becomes 16 plus 6 infantry points plus 6 more infantry points. 16 plus 14, that is 30 points. Versus 8, that's a sloppy 3-to-1. Add 1 to the die roll for my buildings.
4.
4 becomes a 5 on 3-to-1. He is dispersed. So no cat attack. I came within 100 meters of cat attacking that objective hex. But it wouldn't have given me it anyway. Try to rally that fool. He does rally. And these guys just for fun, because it's the end of the game now. Whoops. They pivot into that building hex. So I've got. I'm not going to take it, obviously, but I've got that hex under some pretty serious threat. And that's going to wrap up the Chinese game here in the south. All right, over here to Mr. North. Ooh, yes. Yes, it is time. It is time. Oh boy. Oh, please let me do this. I don't think I can because he's in concrete buildings. Damn it. If I could blow up that Stryker platoon with soldiers still inside of it. This guy's obviously already fired. Nobody else is close enough. Unless Oh dear God. Oh please, 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 please.
Uh-oh. Oh no, I don't.
That's a line of sight. Alright, we're not taking each other's objective hexes, but damn it. It is, because I'm not going to take that overpass, I don't think. Alright. 50 points on my, my Chinese, I keep calling them Chinese javelins. I know that's not really what they are. That's kind of what they are. Hongjian 12s, whatever that is. And 50 points plus 6 is 62 points. 62 points versus 11 is 5 to 1. Add 1 to the... Now I want more. I'm putting in those saggers as well. Now I'm on the 7 to 1 table, right? 30 plus 50 is 80, plus 6 plus 6. Hold on.
92.
92 divided by 11. Now that's too much. That's overkill. What the hell? Never mind. 80 points divided by 11. Okay, I'll do that. Just those two missile units up north. The Hongjian 12s and the Type 5 APCs, firing its one and only Sagger strike. It's not really a Sagger, guys, but when I look up a photograph of that vehicle, it looks a hell of a lot like a Sagger, an old Yom Kippur era AT-3 Sagger. Looks almost exactly like that. So that's going to be 50 points plus 30 points, 80 points, 7 to 1, and 1 again. That 6 defense factor becomes an 11 because of concrete buildings. It goes up to yeah. That's where I get the 7 to 1 from. I do have to add 1 to the die roll. Even with that 1, he's still smoked. So that's more strikers filled with American boys, lit up and toast. That leaves those 2 actual infantry teams in there, or those 2 IFEs sections in there, to fire at somebody else. And that is going to be 12 versus 11. 6 plus 5 is 1 to 1. Add 1 to the die roll. Maybe I'll disorder that other platoon. 2 becomes a 3. They're disordered. Okay.
Oh well.
Where's that other Apache? I'm going to roll another 6. Here it comes.
You're right over.
Is it in range? Ooh, it may not be technically in range. It's a range of 30. It's in range. I mean, who knows? I might get another one. Nope, that's a miss. Okay. And now to finish up movement. Only because I'll not respect myself in the morning. Also, it'll be fun. And who doesn't want one last kick-ass fireface? Cannot move. I'm sorry. Cannot move, can move. Hey, guess what? I own that objective hex now. And I didn't spend enough movement in your fire phase for you to take opportunity fire. So I win the game, except not really, because guess what's going to happen? Oh wait, this is where the Chinese commander's like, well, wait a minute, the other guy gets one more turn? Oh no. But in all seriousness, for the moment, I stress moment, I control that objective hex. In fact, oh god, I'm so dead. I was going to go ahead and try an overrun. But that would trigger automatic point-blank objective opportunity fire from these units. That would be 106 times 2, 212. Plus the command element, another 56.
Do it.
But if you failed, the way you roll, Alright, now we're getting a little silly here. So 56 plus 28, you're all within half range, obviously. That's 280 points divided by 33. Yeah, that's 8 to 1. They have no bonus, so no matter what, they're automatically smoked. So no, they will not do the overrun. I'm going to actually make you use your fire phase. It's going to be the same result. You're going to smoke them on that same die roll, and then you're going to use split move and fire to occupy the objective X. That's going to be it for my turn. Over to you for turn 10.
Right, so shootiness. Okay, so we've got the Japs.
The link is not showing up. You guys are not seeing a link in my comments? Really? So if you look in the comments, James Johnson, there isn't, I'm seeing it. Yes, I'm definitely in YouTube. Is this YouTube screwing me up again? Because now multiple people are saying that it says, okay, so Dimythios, your comment that says nope, N-O-P-E, nope. The comment immediately above that does not say, https://discord GG. Really? Seeing YouTube guidelines. I guess it's not letting me post a link in there. I will put it in my Twitch stream if you guys want to try and follow us on Twitch. Or go over to our Twitch chat. Okay, let me see if this works. Are you guys seeing a no link? What the hell, man? Okay, Jen, right under where you say no link, is there a link to my Twitch account? Or to the Sitrep Podcast Twitch account? Let me check out YouTube. Holy crap, I don't see it either. What the hell? It's not letting me put in links. That sucks. Okay, I'm going to try something else. Maybe because I'm not signed. Okay, I'm gonna try something else. Give me a second, guys.
Can you paste it in and then put parentheses around it?
It's possible. That link will no longer work. They'll just have to cold copy it out of the comment page and put it in their search bar, but that might work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the Sitrep Podcast actual account and see if I can post it here. If this doesn't work, I will put it in the description of the video. Yes. So now that I'm putting it in there as Sitrep Discord, hopefully you guys now see it. I see it in my Sitrep Podcast replay. I think because I was logged in as just another viewer. So I'm seeing it now. I think it was allowing me to do it because now I'm doing it as the actual owner of this channel, Sitrep Podcast. So do you guys see those links now? Short answer, I do, as an actual client. If not, let me know and I will go into the channel description, or into the actual video description. Let me know if you guys can see that link. I see them and they work. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's because I was in there as James Johnson, which, as far as YouTube goes, James Johnson is just another viewer. Now I have switched over to Sitrep Podcast. I'm now the owner of the channel, and hopefully now it's letting it work. Okay, cool. So, again, https://discord.gg, that link should now work to let you guys join Discord if you want. Oh god, it's hot as hell in here because I have to turn off my fan and my little air conditioning vent so it doesn't blow on the mic, but it does get a little warm in here. Alright, so it's up to you now, Damon, for there is no mortar fire because you took opportunity fire here, so this is all done, except for the gunship. So yeah, we go straight to direct fire.
The gunship, the Apache will shoot. Can they see the infantry in the town?
Yes. Because they because you've got friendly units adjacent to them, they're assumed to be spotted.
Yep. So they will. So what else can shoot? The Apache
The
is
Apache
12
definitely,
on their
the
defense.
Apache definitely can shoot. You can either chain gun the guys in the open or the disordered guys in the wooden buildings.
12 to 8. The other stuff. I'll shoot at one of the units in the open with the Apache.
All right.
And the units in the town will shoot at the disordered unit.
The units in the town used opportunity fire, so they're not
Oh
able
yeah,
to shoot.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll see if I can just. Yeah, the Apache will see if I can get one of the units in the open.
1-to-1. That's it. Yeah, 1-to-1.
2.
Disordered. All right, everybody there is not disordered. There's nothing to do down here except to rally this guy in the attack phase.
3.
He does rally.
Yep.
All right, so it sounds like Dimethios can now see the links. Okay, cool. Awesome.
The Abrams will engage the mortar carrier.
Oh no, but why? 112 versus 7. I don't know what those orders are, but he smoked. Because it's 7-to-1, and the chart stops at 7-to-1. And even with adding 1 to the die roll, a natural 6, which reads as a 7, he still smoked. So at last, those Chinese mortars that have done enough damage, they're done. Continuing movement. I mean, gunfire. There's no fire here, right? Okay, cool. Moving on. We're gonna go. Oh god.
If only, Jim. If only.
Yeah, we've already done the math on it. It's 100. In fact, if anything, I shortchanged you before. It's not 102. It's 112. 112 plus 112 plus 28 plus 28. 280. Okay, I did have it right. 280 divided by 33. Yeah, it's past 7-to-1. And he's in the open, so yeah. Super smoked.
We will make shoot bang fire.
Take that thing off of my ridge. Boom! Alright. Hey, but there's three rec counters in there. You can't reoccupy that hex. It's maximum stack. That's still my objective hex. Because we're playing by 1975 Panzer Blitz rules. By the way, this is why...
I'll bulldoze them out the way.
This is why they changed those rules, so that you couldn't do bullshit like that. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Arab Israeli Wars does have rules for removing rec counters, and only armored vehicles can do it. But yeah, obviously, occupy the hex, and you don't spend a quarter of the movement, so I can't take opportunity fire. Also, he's used up his missiles, and you don't. Yeah, so he's fine. Technically, in turn 11, these missile guys could then shoot over here, but yeah, no, the game is basically over. In fact, if I was up, if it's cool with you, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here, if that's all right with you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure we're done. Yeah, unless you wanted to move these other 2 platoons somewhere. I mean,
really.
even with a cat attack, you wouldn't be able to occupy this hex in the bottom. You could cat attack it. You only have 1 unit to cat attack with. But even then, you wouldn't get to occupy it. And you would take opportunity fire going in.
Yeah. I need another turn, maybe 2 turns to mob up enough. I mean, now I can just rush the tanks down and go stompy stomp with tanks.
Yeah, the one thing I was trying to do, I knew I wasn't going to be able to hold this. I was trying to basically run out the clock on this embankment because I was afraid of Damon is going to realize exactly how powerful he is here in the northwest. He's going to just curb stomp everything up here, and then he's going to have 2 or 3 turns left to turn south down the highway and then take all 5 objective hexes for a decisive victory. So the way I usually set up my scenarios, guys, in the chat, is I have 5 objective hexes on the table, kind of scattered around, so it's not like favoring one side or the other. And whoever controls 3 objective hexes at the end of the game, in other words, a majority, 3 out of 5, 3 objective hexes gives you a marginal victory, 4 objective hexes gives you a tactical victory. If you control all 5, that's a decisive victory, which almost never happens, because decisive victory. But here, it looks like he's got 4. I came close to threatening one of them, and he came close to threatening one of mine. He definitely took... I was never able to take this one. I never even saw this one. I did see this one, I just couldn't take it. I held this one and then lost it. I took this one and held it, although kind of barely. And then here, yeah. I came close, but yeah, it's not very likely that even with another couple of turns, I would be able to take that hex. Because I've just taken too many losses, and he's in concrete buildings. So this threat to the south did not really develop as bad as I thought it would. I think the Americans mounted a pretty decent defense down here. They got curb stomp here, along with the Taiwanese, in actually Lungtan itself. And up here, I overran it, and then he overran it back. So we traded that one back and forth. And then where I really lost the game was up here. I just did not manage this attack. Originally, this was 10th Brigade of PLA, 10th Armored Brigade. You can see how powerful they used to be. Unfortunately, I kind of pissed it away. I mean, they were actually pretty damn strong. But then came the Predator drones. Then came the SEP-3 Abrams. Then came the Apaches, and you know, it got ugly from there. So,
I think the Japs did quite a lot of that damage as well, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely. That Type 10 was cleaning up for a while, and then that infantry counterattack down in the woods, that was scary. That was awesome.
That was one of the best bits. Oh
yeah, for sure. I also screwed up the way. I mean, that was that one turn I forgot to fire my flankers. I have 2 SU-27, or technically J-16 flanker strike aircraft, and then I wound up forgetting to shoot them for a turn. I could not get out of the pin down, rally, I can't fire, pin down, rally, I can't fire, sort of fire superiority cycle that was going on up here. So I should have seen the writing on the wall on like turn 3 and just gotten the hell out of there. At least then I could have mounted a better fight over here. That would have given me 1, 2, possibly 3, because I wouldn't have had to pull stuff back to defend this hex. I may have won, or at least squeak by with a marginal defeat rather than a tactical defeat. But yeah, American stuff is just too friggin' good, man. These numbers aren't random. They're sort of, okay, we know what a T-34 was in World War II. Okay, we know what a T-54 was in Arab-Israeli wars. We know what a T-62 was in Arab-Israeli wars. So we take those numbers in real life, we take those numbers in the game, we sort of plot them in Excel side by side, and then we just do the natural progression up through T-64, T-72. I know that's not a straight line, guys, but I'm just trying to make a point here. T-62, T-74, or I got that mixed up. Technically, I would go T-72 to T-64. T-64 is a better tank. T-80s, T-90s, kind of take a side split off of that for all these Chinese variants. For the Americans, it's kind of the same thing. And again, I'm not doing this alone. Northeast Atlantic Gaming Group is doing this. Tactical Combat Middle East is doing this by Toshesh Miniatures. Arab-Israeli Wars did this when they came out with their Merkava values for 1982 Peace for Galilee. You can also look at other games like Steel Panthers, if you guys have ever played with that on the PC. Steel Panther's main battle tank, you can look at all the same values. In fact, that's kind of how I did this. You take all those values for all those tanks that game gives you, and that game has the piss researched out of it. And you say, okay, this is what it gives the T-54, T-55, T-62, T-72, T-64, T-80, T-90, etc., etc. This is what it gives the M6, the M48, the M48A5, the M60, the M60A3. You know, click, click, click. The early M1 Abrams, the M1 Abrams with the 120s, the A1s, the A2s, the A1, the A2s, SEP 1, SEP 2, SEP 3, or whatever. And then you pretty much convert their numbers, once you realize how their numbers work, and you convert that into Arab Israeli Wars. And then you take 2 or 3 of these sources. You also can take other games like IDF and MBT by Avalon Hill, and you sort of, you know, amalgamate all this together so you're not just relying on one source. And you can come up with some pretty good numbers, and some of these numbers become terrifying. So when Ben says in the chat, these numbers blow you away, they blow me away too, and they blow away the Chinese, to be sure. Because, yeah. These Abrams are the new top of the line. Again, this is what they used to call the SEP 3, the SEP V3. These are the Abrams that have been in, you know, Baghdad. They have all the new stuff, the best electronics, the remote-controlled 50 caliber on the roof. So the guy doesn't even have to get out of the hatch to operate the 50. He's got the, they're playing around with those remote sensors that when they sense a missile or an RPG coming in, a piece of the armor blows off. Not like reactive armor, it doesn't wait to be hit by the armor. A piece of the armor actually ejects off the tank in like millisecond time and collides with the RPG while it's still like 6 feet away from the tank. This is real life stuff. This is stuff that they're playing around with now, and they put in the field, and it does work. It doesn't help at all versus Sabo rounds. Sabo rounds are just way too fast. That's why we have a certain defense factor, which again, that should be 36, not 26. And then these 2 stars. So if it's an H-class weapon, in other words, like an RPG or something like that, or a G-class weapon, it has to take 2 off the die roll to apply for that extra level of defense against slow-moving heat or shape-charged warheads, like, again, missiles, rockets, stuff like that. But anyway, again, congratulations, Damon. That was a great game. Took us 6 hours, but we did get through it.
I enjoyed it, mate. Thank you. It was a good game.
Definitely. Tactical victory. I think that might... Is that your first tactical? Or I know it's not your first win. Was that your first tactical?
Yeah, for sure.
It might be, yeah. Yeah, so you not only won that one, you won it pretty handily. So, yeah, good job. All right, guys, if there's no other questions or comments, I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream. We've been up now for 3.5 hours almost. We will be back live for sure on Wednesday. We're going to talk more about our 4-star to Butterbar campaign coming up. If you're interested in that, check us out on Discord. Butterbar to 4-star is basically we're going to run a 30 to 35 year campaign. Of course, it won't take that long in real life, but we're going to start you off as a second lieutenant in an army of your choice, anywhere in the 1960s. And you get to start, and you can play certain kind of games, and we can progress your games. You can take part in whatever scenario that you want that took place during that time. And after that, you become a captain. You graduate to another game system. So maybe you start off in Bolt Action as a platoon leader. Then you go to Flames of War as a company commander. Then you go to Baby Panzerblitz or Valor and Victory as a battalion commander. Then you go to Real Panzerblitz as a brigade commander. And then we'll come up with something. We'll do, World War 2.5. We'll do some kind of game where you can play on the divisional scale as a 2-star general. We are working out the levels, we're working out the campaigns, we're working out the conflicts that are viable. We are not keeping it all American. You can play Russians, you can play Israelis, you can play British, French. There are plenty of wars to pick from. But we are going to set up those eras, a certain staircase method. And we're basically settled on 5 levels. Platoon, company, battalion, brigade, division. And we're going to have a medal system where you can win medals and the whole 9 yards. And we're going to see if, if anyone who wants to participate, we're going to see if you have what it takes to take your little character, for lack of a better term, from Butterbar to 4-star. We're going to start you off as a brand new shaved tail Butterbar second lieutenant that nobody respects, all the way up to 4-star general, theater commander in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. All right, guys. Thanks one more time. We're going to go ahead and take off. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Please stay safe out there. This is Oriskany Jim signing off. Thanks one more time to Damon. And for now, we are signing off. Take care, everybody, and we'll be in touch very soon.